Near Venus. Power ring user's vitals fading. Transmitting location for immediate pickup. The green glow a ring shown in space. I have to get somewhere safe or else they will take the ring. A green man with 3 eyes said badly injured from a fight with something. Ring. Where is the nearest inhabited world? He asked. Scanners show Earth as the next inhabited world. Approximately 207 million miles from here. The ring somehow responded. Perfect, take me there. It may be time to find a new Green Lantern. Begin searching for a new user when we are close, the mystery person said, coughing blood. Earth. Izuku Midoriya at a young age. He was destined to become a nobody, losing both parents at the age of 4. He was given up to an orphanage. Being in the system didn't help, bouncing from home to home, family to family. No one wanted him because he was quirkless. Left to suffer alone at the orphanage, even worse at school. He eventually made a friend, Bakugo or Kaken. He lived nearby so they would regularly play together, but he too would pick on him for being quirkless. As the years went on, things only got worse. Izuku eventually came to the realization that he would have no family and no true friends. He found solace with the only person who treated him like a person, Sister Maria. She was a young sister who worked for the orphanage. She would regularly read to Izuku and teach him. Izuku walked home after another day of bullying. His friend Kaken was the worst. He known his since they were little kids, but ever since he found out Izuku was quirkless, he picked on his. Kaken was determined to make sure Izuku's dreams of becoming a hero were destroyed. You will never amount to anything, Deku. You got that? Don't even think of applying to UA. If you do, I will make sure to beat you to a pulp, got it? Kaken's voice still played inside Izuku's mind, playing over and over. Maybe he's right, I think I should just give up. I'll ever become a hero. Izuku walked down an alley unaware that a villain was slowly approaching him from behind. Got you, kid. Before Izuku could turn around, the sludge villain had captured him. Easy, kid, this will only hurt a lot. The villain slowly began to squeeze the life out of Izuku. With every breath, he felt the villain tighten his grip on his body. I guess this is it. I always thought I would die of old age. Oh well, maybe in my next life I can finally have a quirk. Izuku stopped struggling, accepting his fate. Unfortunately for him, fate had other plans for him. Fear not, my boy. Why? Because I am here. The voice of All Might roared through the alleyway. Detroit smash. All Might punched the villain with such force that Izuku was freed from his grasp. Falling to the ground, Izuku gasped for air. All Might! He couldn't believe it. His favorite hero of all time had just saved him. All Might quickly placed the sludge villain into a small bottle for easy transport. Can I get your autograph? He asked, holding out a notebook he pulled out of his backpack. Of course, young man. I always have time for a fan. All Might grabbed the notebook and signed his name across 2 pages. Handing it back to the Izuku, he couldn't contain himself. It was like seeing someone who just won the lottery. If that's all, I will take my leave. Crime won't stop itself, you know. See you later, kid. Izuku quickly snapped out of being starstruck. Wait, I have a question I want to ask you. All Might was about to jump away when he stopped. Sure, I got time. What is it, boy? All Might tucked away the villain in his pocket, making sure he wouldn't get away. Is it possible for a quirkless person to become a hero? Izuku's voice was quiet, almost passive. All Might's eyes went wide. Quirkless? So he's one of the 20%, he shook his head. I'm sorry, young man, but no, I don't think so. Without a quirk, you couldn't be a hero no matter how hard you try. If you want to help people become a police officer, they accept quirkless people. It may not be as glamorous as being a hero, but you will still help people. I'll be going now, farewell. Off he went. All Might jumped away, leaving poor Izuku in the alley to his own thoughts. Alone in the alley, Izuku didn't move from where he stood. I get it. Someone as useless as I am could never be a hero, even All Might said himself. I get it now why Bakugo and all the other kids picked on me. This is just how things are meant to be, I guess. Izuku walked down the street with his head down. As he walked down the street, he heard an explosion coming from a nearby store. At first he was going to ignore it until he heard an all-too-familiar voice coming from the store. You bastard, let me go. I will blow you apart. It was Bakugo. Somehow the sludge villain had escaped from All Might and captured Bakugo. Izuku watched in horror as his friend was being taken over by the sludge villain. How? All Might should have taken him to the police station by now, so what happened and where is he? He saw all of the pro heroes at the scene did nothing. Why aren't they doing anything? Izuku disliked Bakugo but not enough to let him die. Izuku ran past the pro heroes. Throwing his backpack, he landed a hit in the sludge villain's eye. Gah! My eye, who did that? Izuku ran towards the villain, scratching at the villain to release his friend to no avail. Deku? What are you doing here, you useless piece of shit? Bakugo yelled. Trying to save you. You know why? Because I am here. Izuku smiled. Faced with his greatest fear, he smiled. How very brave of you, young man. You are all that embodies a hero. However, why don't you leave this to the heroes? California smash. With another powerful punch, All Might blew the sludge villain off of Bakugo. This time, making sure he wouldn't escape, he locked him away with the help of the police. Izuku and Bakugo were both given a good talking to, especially Izuku when they found out he was quirkless. Listen kid, what you did was just plain stupid. Without a quirk you could have gotten hurt. Lucky for you, All Might was nearby to step in and help you. Next time you may not be all that lucky. After a few minutes they were both allowed to leave. Izuku walked down the street with a frown on his face. Could this day get any worse? Making it to the orphanage, he opened the door to be greeted by Sister Maria. Oh, hello Izuku, welcome back. How was your day? Maria smiled. A rather tall woman with her long brown hair and brown-colored eyes. It was good. I met All Might when he saved me from a villain, he said, placing his backpack on the floor. A villain? Maria ran to Izuku, checking his body. Are you all right? Did he hurt you? Let me check. Oh no, maybe we should go to the hospital to be safe. Her muttering never ceases to amaze him. I'm fine, Maria. All Might saved me before anything could happen. Izuku smiled, knowing that her worrying was a sign that she cared for him. Are you sure? She asked, stopping and looking into his eyes. He nodded. All right then, go change and get the little ones ready for dinner in an hour. Izuku went upstairs where all the rooms were located. Once in his room, he closed the door and collapsed onto his bed. I think I should take a nap. Falling asleep, he dreamed of becoming a hero, of what could have been. After 40 minutes, he was woken to the sound of laughing. Huh! He looked around to find Lisa and Levi about to write on his face. What are you two doing? Nothing. Lisa and Levi were twins who were abandoned by their family for whatever reason. Izuku was a sort of big brother to them, so they would follow him around. Oh really? Then what about that marker in your hands? Izuku pointed at the marker in Lisa's hand. The two just whistled and pretended they had no idea what he was talking about. Fine, don't tell me, but it's almost dinner time, get yourselves washed up, he said, getting off the bed. All right, the twins said in unison as they ran out of the room. A few minutes later, Izuku had called all the other kids to go wash up and head downstairs for dinner. The dinner table was long enough to fit 40 people at once. Izuku let the smaller kids get their share of food first before allowing himself to get something. Usually he would get very little since he would be the last one, but he didn't mind as long as the little ones got their fill. After dinner, Izuku would walk down to the beach and sit near the cliff's edge, overlooking the ocean, and watched as the sun set every day. I guess things could be worse. I should always look at the bright side, as Sister Maria always says. Izuku closed his eyes and the darkness began to take over the sky. Boom! Izuku woke up to a loud sound. What was that? He looked around but saw nothing, until he looked up. There a green ball of something was coming down, burning up as it entered the atmosphere. It looks like an asteroid? Wait, is it heading over here? The object got closer and closer. Izuku saw this and began to run for cover, throwing himself to the ground. Just then the object struck the cliff, breaking off a good portion of it. The green glow was still there and pulsating rapidly. Curious and thinking it was an asteroid, Izuku approached it slowly. As he got closer, he noticed that it wasn't an asteroid but rather a person. Hey, are you all right? He asked the green man with 3 eyes. Whoever it was, they were badly injured and need help fast. Wait here, I'll go get help. As he was about to leave, a hand reached out and stopped Izuku from leaving. Don't go, the green man's voice was quiet. Mustering up his strength, he spoke once again. I need to give you something first before it's too late. The man raised his hand up to reveal a green ring with a symbol in the middle. What is that? Izuku asked. Before he could ask anything else, the ring began to float in the air, glowing green. It began to scan Izuku with a green light before speaking. Izuku Midoriya of Earth, you have the power to overcome great fear. You have been chosen. The ring flew onto Izuku's right ring finger. Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps. A green ball of energy covered Izuku completely. After a second it disappeared to reveal Izuku in an all-green suit with the symbol on his chest and a mask covering his face. What is this? Izuku looked at his hands and legs covered in all green. You are now a Green Lantern, protectors of the universe. You young man are destined for great things. I wish you the best of luck. Those were the final words that the Green Man spoke before dying. First flight. Izuku stood on the cliff in disbelief, that is until he heard the sound of police sirens approaching. Taking off the ring, Izuku dusted himself off. I need to get out of here. Looking back at the Now Corps, he saw a lantern. I should take that, it looks important. Grabbing it, Izuku ran down the cliff towards the beach. He'd go the long way to get home. Making his way back to the orphanage, Izuku snuck in and went straight to his room. Putting the ring and lantern on his desk, he threw himself onto the bed exhausted. Man, what a night. I better sleep it off. I'll test what that ring can do tomorrow. It was early in the morning when Lisa and Levi snuck into Izuku's room. See, I told you he's still asleep, Levi said, standing next to Izuku. He should be awake by now, Lisa pouted, seeing Izuku was being lazy. She then looked around his room and saw the lantern and ring. Hey, what's that? She said, picking up the lantern. It looks like a lantern. Where did Izuku get this? Levi wondered, looking at the ring. It looks expensive. You don't think he stole this, right? Izuku would never do anything like that, Lisa said, yelling at her brother. This made Izuku turn in the bed. See, you almost woke him up, she said, but now in a much lower volume. But you're the one who yelled, Levi said, putting back the ring. But you're right, Izuku would never steal anything. Lisa nodded. That's right. So what do you say you want to wake him up and find out where he got it? She smiled, putting back the lantern. Levi nodded, knowing what his sister wanted to do. They carefully got on top of his bed without waking him up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! They both jumped into the air and came down hard on Izuku's stomach, waking him up in the most brutal way they could think of. Wake up, Izuku! They both yelled. Izuku grunted in pain when he felt all that weight suddenly on his stomach. I thought I told you not to do that anymore. They jumped off of the bed. Yeah, but it's more fun waking you up like this, Lisa said, laughing. Izuku sighed. What am I going to do with you two? Izuku got up to go to the restroom. Izuku, where did you get the ring and lantern? Levi pointed at them. Izuku's eyes went wide. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, those things, I found them on the beach. They looked cool, so I brought them back. I see, well, you do have a thing for bringing back junk. Just make sure Sister Maria doesn't find out. You already know how scary she can be, Lisa said, shivering. Yeah, I know. Now it's almost time for breakfast. Izuku led the twins to the dining hall where they had breakfast. Izuku only ate an apple and a piece of toast, but it was enough. Izuku went to school, got bullied, and went back to the orphanage just like any other day. It was now nighttime when Izuku decided to test out the ring. I don't know how, but this ring has some incredible power. I felt last night when I put it on. Taking a deep breath, Izuku put on the ring. As soon as he did, his body was covered in a green light. After a second or two, he re-emerged with a green suit, a mask covering his mask, and the mark of the Green Lantern Corps on his chest. This is awesome. After a minute, Izuku calmed down. I wonder if I can fly? That guy from yesterday fell from the sky, so I wonder. Izuku looked at the open window. The window was large enough for him to jump out of. Izuku walked to the far edge of the room. Taking a deep breath, Izuku ran towards the window, jumping out. For a split second, it looked like Izuku was flying, but he quickly realized that he was falling towards the floor. OSH*T. Izuku yelled as he fell towards the ground. Come on! Come on! Fly! Fly! Izuku closed his eyes and braced for impact, but it never came. What happened? Opening his eyes, Izuku noticed he stopped just short of hitting the ground and was no hovering. This is a start. Now how do I fly? Izuku thought about pushing his body upward, and the ring responded to his thoughts and made him fly up. Cool, so the ring responds to my thoughts. Izuku was starting to get the hang of flying. He decided to fly over the nearby city. Wow, this is amazing. I wish the twins can see this. He went lower, flying between buildings. That's when he heard a yell. Stopping mid-air, Izuku looked around trying to find the source of the yell. Where did that come from? The ring began to glow and created a green arrow pointing to the left. Cool. I better go see what's going on. Izuku hovered over an alleyway below him. He saw a girl being chased by two thugs. Oh no, she needs help. Without hesitation, Izuku flew down towards the alley. The young girl ran down the alley as fast as she could, holding onto her purse. No, I can't let them have it. All my money my dad gave me for the apartment is in here. He spent too many hours working to get me to UA, and I won't let them take it. She ran fast, maybe a little too fast. Turning the corner, she fell, twisting her ankle. She tried to get up but couldn't put any pressure on her foot. That's when the two thugs caught up to her. Man, you run fast, the shark-faced thug said, catching her breath. No kidding, I almost gave up chasing you, said the thug with sharp scissors for fingers. But now you go nowhere to run, so hand over the bag. As the two thugs approached her, the girl closed her eyes, not wanting to see what was going to happen to her. Suddenly a green light shined on the group. The two thugs looked up to see Izuku floating down and getting in front of the girl. I'd leave her alone if I were you. What the hell? What's a hero doing here? The shark-faced thug said, stepping back. I've never seen you before, and I know every hero in this city, and you aren't one of them. So that means you're nobody. Get him. The two jumped at Izuku only to get hit by a giant green boxing glove, sending them flying towards the wall. Awesome, all I have to think about doing it, and the ring makes it happen. Izuku then turned to the scared girl. Hey, are you all right? The girl opened her eyes to reveal Izuku in front of her, offering a hand. Why, yeah, I'm fine thanks to you. Thank you. She took his hand and dusted herself off. Wow, she's cute. Izuku looked at the girl. And no problem. Now I suggest you call the police to come pick these two up. Izuku pointed at the now unconscious thugs. Yeah, thank you. Who are you anyway? She asked. Oh, I'm Green Lantern. He quickly corrected himself when he noticed he was about to expose himself. Well, thank you, Green Lantern. My name is Uraraka Ochako, you really saved me. Wait, where's my purse? Oh no, the money. Uraraka's face began to fill with worry. Don't worry, I got it. Ring find her purse. With a green glow, the ring scanned the nearby area. When it found the purse, it picked it up and brought it to Uraraka. Here you go, miss. Uraraka grabbed it, then hugged it. Oh, thank you so much. If you don't mind me asking, shouldn't you put that much money in the bank? Izuku asked. I was until those two chased me down. The money is for an apartment I'm renting for when I get into UA, said Uraraka. I see, so you're an aspiring hero then. That's good, we need more heroes in this world. Well, if that's all, I'll be taking my leave then. Make sure you call the police, Uraraka. Goodbye. And with that, Izuku jumped into the fly and took off. Wow, he can fly. He said his name was Green Lantern. Never heard of him. Must be a new hero in the city. Uraraka took out her phone and began to call the police. No more than 3 minutes had passed when the police showed up along with the pro-hero Eraserhead. After arresting the two, they went over to Uraraka to take a statement. So, Miss Uraraka, can you tell us what happened? A rather tall man in a trench coat said with pen and paper in hand. So I was going to the bank to put in some money when those two attacked me. It seemed they wanted my purse, but instead of giving it to them, I took off running and ended up here. That's when I fell, twisting my ankle. Seeing that I could no longer run, the two thugs were about to take my things when a hero came by to help me, she said as the detective wrote down everything. A hero, you say? Eraserhead said, raising an eyebrow. Yeah, he had a green suit with a weird logo on his chest. Oh, and a ring that could do some really cool stuff, Uraraka explained. There was no hero reported in this area. Did he say his name? Eraserhead said. Yeah, he said it was Green Lantern, Eraserhead, and the detective looked at each other, not knowing who that was. Looks like we got a vigilante on our hands, the detective said, closing his notebook. So it seems, great, not another one, Eraserhead said, sighing. Wait, so he wasn't a hero? I knew he looked too young to be one. He had to be at least my age. Well, whoever you are, thank you, Uraraka said, looking towards the sky. Izuku made his way back to the orphanage. Flying into the window, he landed. Man, what a day. I can't believe I actually saved someone from real villains. As he was talking to himself, the ring's green light began to flicker and then disappear. What happened? Izuku was now wearing his normal clothes. Izuku looked at the ring. Maybe it has a battery? Great. How am I going to power up a ring? He walked back and forth in his room thinking of a way to charge the ring. That's when the lantern began to glow. What the? Izuku got closer. I can feel it talking to me. He raised the ring to the lantern. In brightest day, in darkest night, no evil shall escape my might. The lantern began to glow brighter and brighter. Let those who worship evil beware my power. Green lantern's light. Izuku could feel the power coursing into the ring glowing brighter with every second until finally it recharged completely. Oh, I see, so it's like some sort of ring power battery. Good to know. Izuku had enough excitement for one night. Taking off the ring, he threw himself onto his bed to sleep. 6 blue guardians sat on tall pillars with a giant green lantern power battery in the background. It seems we have a new member of the Corp, one of the guards said. So it seems we must have someone bring back the new Green Lantern. It looks like he's on the planet called Earth, said another. Very well, Kilowog. Take a task force to bring our new lantern here. The Guardian gestured down to a tall alien with a bulldog-looking face approached the guards. Thank you, Guardians, for this task. I shall leave at once, Kilowog said before turning around and leaving. Zuko spent the next couple of days secretly training with the ring at night when everyone was asleep. He found that the ring, if pushed too hard, can actually hurt him and his mind, putting a strain on his mind and body. He would fly around the nearby city and stop any villains he would see. Soon he would become known as the vigilante known as Green Lantern. The police wanted to take him in for questioning, but every time they tried he would just fly off before they had the chance to cuff him. They still didn't know what kind of quirk he had, only that he was a young man in his teens and liked the color green. He has even been given rewards for his good deeds. He once saved an older couple who ran a bakery from a robbery, and they offered him fresh bread every day. Izuku graciously accepted, and every day he would take the bread back to the orphanage. When Sister Maria asked where he got it, he would also say the same thing: donations. However, there were people who did not like what Izuku was doing, especially pro-heroes. In just a few days, Izuku already had a couple of run-ins with some local heroes. This began to catch the eye of more prominent heroes in the area. Police station. We need to bring him in, Nanomesa said, sitting around a table surrounded by pro-heroes. Other heroes tried multiple times, but he always escapes with the help of his quirk, Eraserhead said, frustrated. You have to admit that quirk is really amazing. I don't know how it works, but he can seemingly make whatever he wants with it. He could even fly, said Midnight. Yes, while his quirk is impressive, what he's doing is not. It's illegal and dangerous. He's putting himself and the public in danger. That's why I brought the big gun to bring him in, Nizu said, turning his chair to the door. It will be all right, my fellow heroes. Why? Suddenly the door exploded open. Because I am here. A tall man with a muscular build wearing a bright and colorful costume walked into the room. It was All Might, the #1 hero, and he was here to help. Thank you, All Might, for coming here to help us with this vigilante problem, said Nizu. But of course, I see why you would want my help. This vigilante has been gaining support of the public. If he continues to gain support, it would surely spell disaster later. So how can I help? Later that night, Izuku was flying around the city looking for crime. He could stop when he noticed someone waving him down from a balcony. I wonder if they need any help. Flying down his ring shined a light on the person. Need any help? That's when he noticed who it was. Oh, hey, I remember you. Yeah, you're that girl I saved from those guys trying to steal your bag. Uraraka, right? Yeah, that's me. Thanks for saving me. Actually, do you mind turning off that light? It hurts my eyes. Uraraka said, shielding her eyes. Oh, right. Sorry about that, Izuku said, embarrassed. Anyway, so have you gotten into UA yet? Uraraka chuckled. No, not yet. The exams are in a week, so I still got time to train. Izuku floated down closer. I see, so what's your quirk anyway? Oh, my quirk. Uraraka showed one of her hands. See those little pads at the ends of my fingers? If I touch something with all 5 fingers, I can make them weightless. That's so cool. Izuku sniffed the air. Wait, do I smell something burning? Oh no, the cookies. Uraraka hurried back inside, and after a few seconds she walked out on the balcony with a tray of burnt cookies. Man, I worked so hard on these and now they are ruined. Izuku floated down and landed on her balcony and grabbed a cookie and proceeded to eat it. Hey, they're burnt, they won't taste good, Uraraka said, shocked. Izuku didn't care. He grabbed one after another until there was none left. They were actually pretty good. It was only burnt on the surface. He was too poor to care, plus he wasn't a food critic, so everything tasted good to him. Uraraka's face turned red. Why, you really think so? Yup, of course. Man, I wish I could have some more, Izuku smiled. If Izuku learned one thing about living in an orphanage, it's never to waste food. Well, if you want you can drop by sometime and I can make some, she said, fidgeting. Izuku's eyes gleamed. Really? Can I? Uraraka nodded. Awesome. I'll make sure to come back real soon. Izuku looked down at the construct watch he made and noticed it was getting late. Crap, I should go patrol the city one last time before heading home. I'll see you later, Uraraka. He waved as he took off into the sky. Bye, Green Lantern. Make sure to drop by real soon. She waved as he disappeared from view. Izuku flew into the city looking for any crime in progress. When he found none, he decided to rest on a nearby roof. Man, she was cute. I'm so glad I got to see her again, and I get cookies this night, can't go any better. Sorry to burst your bubble, kid, but it's not going to end how you'd like, a voice behind him said, scaring Izuku. Jesus, you scared me. Izuku looked up to see Eraserhead. Is that you, Eraserhead? The pro hero that can erase quirks temporarily. He was now in full superhero fan mode. Yeah, it's me, and tonight is the night I bring you in. Izuku watched as Eraserhead's hair began to spike up and wave around. His eyes changed colors, signaling the activation of his quirk. Now that he's lost his quirk, I can take him down myself. However, Eraserhead was shocked to see that the green glow around him didn't disappear. What, your quirk should have been erased? Yeah, about that. Sorry, but I don't have a quirk. Izuku rubbed the back of his head. What, no quirk? Then how do you explain your powers? Said Eraserhead. I can't really myself, but I do know I get it from this. Izuku held up his hand, showing the Green Lantern ring. A support item then. So that means we can take you down, Eraserhead smiled. Just then his ring went off. Danger alert. Danger alert. Izuku looked around frantically for the danger, but saw nothing. That's when Eraserhead wrapped Izuku in his capture weapon, immobilizing him. What is this stuff? Finally, looking up, Izuku saw him. All Might was flying towards him. All Might. Then he pieced two and two together. Oh no! Delaware smash! All Might yelled. At the last second, Izuku was able to put up a bubble around him, protecting him from the hit. The hit was strong enough to throw Izuku into a wall, bouncing off of it. Inside the bubble, Izuku gritted his teeth. That's when he saw a crack around the shield. He cracked the shield, he smiled. That's All Might for you. Wow, I can't believe it's actually him. Breaking free of the binding Eraserhead put on him, Izuku landed on the ground. With a loud boom, All Might landed a few feet away. Amazing! You're so amazing! Can I have your autograph? He asked, eyes gleaming with excitement. You do know we are trying to bring you in, right? Said All Might, not knowing how to react to this. What? Why, I've done anything wrong? Said Izuku. Illegal use of your quirk and using it to hurt others. Yes, they were bad guys, but still. You need to go to hero school and have a hero license for that, All Might explained. Yeah, but that costs money, something we don't have, plus I do this for my family. The less they have to deal with, the better. If I can make even the slightest difference in their lives, then I'll gladly break the rules. Clenching his fist, a green aura was seen around Izuku as he readied himself for a fight. I see, so your motives are pure, but that still doesn't change the fact that what you are doing is illegal. So I'm sorry, but I'm bringing you in. California smash! All Might yelled as he ran towards Izuku, ready to knock him out. Izuku pointed the ring at All Might as he created a wall to slow down the hero. Making contact with the wall, All Might noticed it didn't break. Rather, it only cracked. What? Even if I'm not using my full power, this wall shouldn't be a problem. What is it made of? Sorry about this, All Might, Izuku said, hovering above All Might. Izuku started to cover All Might in a safe. That should keep you in there until I get away. He took off away from All Might. Do you think a safe is enough to stop me? Think again. All Might began to punch the safe from the inside repeatedly. Izuku stopped and looked as the number one hero struggled to get out. That's when Izuku noticed something. Those strikes, they're not random, he's hitting the structural weak points. Every time he hits the spot, his strikes are getting stronger. At this rate, he's gonna break out. Izuku shot a beam at the safe, repairing it. Eraserhead landed on a nearby roof and watched as Izuku held All Might in a safe, but found something interesting. Why hasn't he flown away yet? Then he noticed Izuku's face. He's focusing hard. That means he has to concentrate in order to use his power, so that means we have a chance. Grabbing a nearby brick, Eraserhead, with the help of his capture weapon, launched himself towards Izuku, ready to strike him with the brick. Being too focused on All Might, Izuku did not see Aizawa coming, and with a brick strike to the ribs, he yelled out in pain, breaking his concentration on All Might. Smash! He yelled out, and with one final strike, All Might broke out of the safe. Seeing Aizawa was falling, he jumped up to catch him. Got you. Don't worry about me. Take him down. Aizawa yelled as All Might put him down on a roof. Jumping back at Izuku, who was still in pain, All Might managed to neck chop him, rendering him unconscious. Man, he was tougher to take down than I thought, and that quirk really is amazing. I had to use about 50% of my power just to break out of that safe. You can tell me all about it later. For now, let's get him to the police station. And with that, the two Hyours took Izuku to the police station. Little did they know the ring around Izuku's finger began to pulse green, sending distress signal. Once there, they tried to take off the ring, but every time they did, it would shoot out a beam of energy, knocking back whoever tried to take off the ring. They even tried to take a blood sample to ID him, but once the needle got close, the ring would create a shell around Izuku, protecting him. Izuku woke up the next morning in a cell with a massive headache. Ow, ow, why does my head hurt so much? Looking around, he found his surroundings unfamiliar. Where am I? You're in a cell inside the police station. A voice was heard. Turning to the source, Izuku saw Naomasa through the bars of the cell. Izuku tried to get up but noticed that his hands were in a strange instrument. Those are quirk suppressor cuffs, so don't try to use your quirk. Now I want to ask you a few questions. Sitting up, Izuku stared at the detective. Figured as much. First question, who are you? Asked the detective with a pen and notepad at the ready. Can't say. Izuku looked away. Naomasa sighed. Come on kid, don't make this harder than it already is. Izuku stayed silent. Fine, next question. Do you want to call a family member or something, so they can be here with you? I don't have any family. They're dead. I've been on my own since I was 4, he said with sadness in his voice. I see. I'm sorry. With the help of his quirk, Naomasa could tell what Izuku just said was the truth. Next question, what's your quirk? From what All Might told me, you have quite the quirk. Don't have one. I'm quirkless. Izuku looked away. Truth. But that's impossible. Naomasa's eyes went wide. Then how do you explain your powers? To tell you the truth, I don't know myself, but it has something to do with a ring I have. Izuku looked at his cuffed hands. Truth. So you really are quirkless. Naomasa couldn't believe it. How could a quirkless person have this kind of power? Before he could ask another question, the police station started to shake. What's going on? Just then a police officer ran down the stairs. Sir, we have a problem. Some strange people walked into the station asking where the Green Lantern was. Great, he has a fan club. All right, I'll be right there. Have All Might meet us in the lobby. You will stay here and stay quiet. And with that, Naomasa ran up the stairs, leaving Izuku. I have to get out of these things. Come on, focus. The cuffs began to glow green from inside. After a few seconds, the cuffs broke, setting Izuku's hands free. Good, I got to see who's looking for me. Flying upstairs, Izuku heard the sound of gunshots, then silence. Reaching the top of the stairs, Izuku saw All Might being pinned down by 2 people in Green Lantern uniforms. Hey, let him go! Izuku fired a green energy beam that split into 2, hitting them and knocking them back. Easy kid, we aren't here to fight you, one of them said. Then why are you here? Izuku said, putting up his guard. Just then a Kilowog walked in between them. We're here to take you, kid. You need to go to OA. You are a Green Lantern, so the Guardians need you to answer a few questions. Can they answer my questions about this ring? Izuku showing the ring. Yes. Now will you come with us? Kilowog said, extending out an arm. Very well, I'll go with you, but I need to stop somewhere first. I will need the lantern battery to charge up my ring, Izuku said. All right, we go there, then you will go to OA for us, said Kilowog. Lead the way. Izuku turned to the police. Sorry about this, guys, but I got to go. Wait! All Might yelled, trying to stop them from leaving, but it was too late. The group took off into the sky, breaking the ceiling as they went. Izuku led them towards the orphanage, telling them to wait outside. Izuku went in and took off the ring. Sneaking past the twins, Izuku made it upstairs, but to his horror sister Maria was waiting for him just outside his room. He prepared himself for a scolding, but instead he was met by her embrace. Midoriya, where have you been? She said as tears fell from her eyes. When you were in your bed last night, I started to get worried, so I went out looking for you. She spent the night looking for me. Izuku hugged Maria back. I'm sorry, Maria. I had to take care of some stuff. The important thing is that you're back, safe and sound, she said, wiping away a year. Now tell me, where were you? I stayed at a friend's house for the night, Izuku lied. A friend? Someone from school? She questioned. Why, yeah. Anyway, they invited me to stay for a week, so I wanted to tell you if I can, Izuku said, muffling the last part. Normally I would say no way, but since I trust you, Izuku, I will allow it. Izuku was surprised to say the least. This will give you the perfect chance for you to explore what's out there and see what you can become. Thank you, Maria. I love you. Izuku hugged her out of excitement. Later, Izuku gathered his things and walked outside where the group was waiting for him. Are you ready? Kilowog asked. Izuku nodded. Yes, let's go. And with that, Kilowog created a rocket ship construct, and with a loud boom the group took off into space. Training. Izuku looked on as they zipped past stars and planets. Amazing, he said as the other lanterns chuckled at the newbie lantern. As they slowed down, Izuku looked outside to find a giant planet just ahead that had a strange green glow surrounding it. We're here, kid. Welcome to OA, home of all the green lanterns. As they entered the planet's atmosphere, Izuku watched in amazement. Breaking past the clouds, Izuku saw a grand city with many green lanterns flying around. Wow, how many members are there? Izuku asked. About 7,200 members, and you are the newest, Kilowog said as they landed in the city. Come on, kid, we are going to meet the Guardians. Izuku was escorted through the building. Inside, he found many different kinds of aliens. Some big, some tiny, others had different colored skin, others with more than 2 eyes or arms. Kilowog looked at Izuku. What's the matter, kid? Never seen aliens before? And no, never. On my planet, we don't even know if they even exist. Well, I guess this answers that question. I wonder if they have quirks. What's a quirk? Kilowog asked. Oh, it's like a superpower some humans develop. Their powers can range from being useful in everyday life or good enough to be a hero, Izuku explained. I see. So what's your quirk? Asked another lantern. I don't have one. I never developed one, Izuku said with sadness in his voice. Kilowog saw the sadness in his eyes. Sorry to hear that, kid, but you are now part of something greater. You are now a Green Lantern, he said as they stopped in front of a large double door. Kilowog told the other lantern they can go. All right, kid, it's time to meet the Guardians. As the doors opened, Izuku swallowed nervously. Walking into the room, 6 large pillars stood around a platform. Kilowog walked Izuku to the center. Guardians, I have returned with the new Green Lantern. On the top, the pillars, little blue people appeared on top of the pillars. So this is the lantern. He's so young. Are we sure he can actually fulfill his duty as a Green Lantern? One of them said. I've heard of these humans. They think they rule the universe and are overly reliant on their technology. I don't believe he could be a good lantern, another said. Come now, we can't judge him just because of his birth planet. What is your name, boy? My name is Ganthit, he said in a soft voice. Izuku Midoriya, sir, he said, sweating from his forehead. Izuku Midoriya, I see. We welcome you to the Green Lantern Corp, Ganthit said. I still don't like it. A human wielding a ring, it's just irresponsible, another Guardian said. This started an argument amongst the Guardians if they should allow Izuku to keep the ring. Izuku slumped his shoulders. That's when Kilowog stepped forward. If I may, Guardians, they turned their attention to Kilowog. When we first arrived on Earth, Izuku thought we were an enemy and fought us. During that little fight, he managed to take down 2 lanterns with little effort. I know if given the right training, he will become an amazing lantern. The Guardians spoke amongst themselves. If this is true Kilowog, then we have truly found a prodigy. Ganthet looked at his fellow Guardians and all nodded. We have decided, Izuku Midoriya of Earth, you are to train under Kilowog until you learn to properly use your powers. Izuku perked up. Why yes sir, I will do my best. We will expect nothing but your best boy, however a word of warning, Kilowog's training can get a bit difficult, so try to stay alive, and with that Ganthet and the other Guardians left. Izuku was immediately taken to his new living quarters where he would train with Kilowog. After charging his ring, Izuku met with Kilowog in the training grounds. Alright newbie, it's time to start your training. The first thing you need to know is that your constructs are only as strong as your will. Right now your constructs are weak. Kilowog created a giant dumbbell that began to fall on Izuku. Izuku quickly created a platform above him, stopping the dumbbell from hitting him, but his legs began to shake from the pressure. Letting the construct disappear, Kilowog got up to Izuku. Since you already know how to fly, we won't go over that, but you need to learn how to handle gravity in space, he said, pointing his ring a bit away from Izuku, and created a small black hole. Taken by surprise, Izuku's feet began to drag on the floor towards the black hole. Thinking for a second, Izuku created a jetpack to keep him from falling into the black hole. Izuku grunted as he pushed himself and the ring. Man, this is difficult. That's what you're going to feel when you travel through space. Not even counting suns. Time to move on into combat training. But your guard up, boy, Kilowog said, going into his fighting stance. Izuku awkwardly put up his fists. I've never been in a real fist fight in my life. I need to think about what I'm going to do. Before he could think about what to do, Kilowog's massive fist hit Izuku in the face, sending him sliding back. I know why your constructs are weak. Kilowog jumped in the air. You overthink everything. He went in for a drop kick Izuku, but he quickly rolled away. You need to stop overthinking everything. Kilowog threw punch after punch. Izuku was barely able to dodge them. That is until Kilowog tripped him up, causing him to fall on his butt. You still have a lot to learn, Kilowog said with his hand out. Here, let me help you out. Izuku went to grab his arm. Once he did, a fist hit his face again. You're too trusting of people. Your enemy, they won't play fair, and neither should you. Use every opening you find. Izuku looked more pissed off than anything else, creating a rug under Kilowog and pulled it, causing him to fall face first. Yeah, that sounds like good advice, thanks. Ha, looks like you learn fast, newbie, Kilowog got up. I think we can make you into a fine green lantern. Izuku spent the next week undergoing extreme training with Kilowog, from sunrise to sunset. He even got to learn about the other lantern core. Red symbolizing rage, orange, greed, yellow, fear, blue, hope, indigo, compassion, and violet, love. There are 2 others, one the black lanterns and the other being the white lanterns. He was told to avoid the black lanterns at all cost. Kilowog was a brutal but effective teacher. His methods had some questionable moral dilemmas, but no one could say he wasn't good at what he did. At times Izuku wanted to give up, but all he had to do was look up and gaze upon the hundreds of stars in the sky. He reminded himself of his past, what he had to go through just to be here, and with his resolve strength Izuku continued to work hard. It was now the final day of his training, and he was to meet the Guardians once last time before leaving. Entering the room, Izuku already looked different. He showed a higher level of confidence. It looks like a week really did change you, Izuku Midoriya, Ganthet said, looking at the boy. Thank you, sir, Izuku said, embarrassed. Izuku Midoriya from Sector 2814. Though your training is incomplete, we chose to send you back to Earth, for we fear there will be a great deal of trouble in the near future to befall your planet. With the training you've done with Kilowog, you are ready to face anything that comes your way. Good luck, another Guardian said. Hearing his name, Izuku stood straight. Yes, sir. Thank you. On behalf of the rest of the Guardians, make us proud, Izuku Midoriya, said Ganthet. I will do my very best, Guardians, Izuku smiled. Good, now off you go. The Earth needs you, and with that the Guardians left, leaving Izuku with the giant central green lantern power battery. As Izuku turned to leave, he heard a voice call out to him, Izuku! Izuku! Turning around, he saw no one around. Strange. I could have sworn I heard a voice just now. Maybe I've been hit too many times in the head during training. Grabbing his things, Izuku went to the launch pad outside the main building. Kilowog and a few other Green Lanterns were there waiting for him. Well, this is it, guys. Kilowog walked towards Izuku and without saying a word, he drew his fist back ready to hit Izuku. Thinking fast, Izuku created a catcher's mitt and caught his fist. Looks like you did learn something, kid, Kilowog said, smiling. Well, I did have an awesome teacher, Izuku replied as the two shook hands. Take care of yourself, kid, Izuku nodded. Focusing, Izuku created a fighter jet and climbed in. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Closing the hatch, the jet began to float into the air before taking off at a high rate of speed. Earth. UA entrance exam. Uraraka was standing in front of a large city. This was going to be the final test to see if she was good enough to get into UA. This was simple: take down as many robots as you can to earn points 0 to 3. Taking a deep breath, she calmed herself, and with eyes filled with determination, she was ready. Bang! As the door opened up, she ran in the giant city and began to target robots. Everything was going well until she began to overuse her quirk, causing her to become nauseous. Taking a short break, she stood on the street, catching her breath. That's when the announcement was made. Warning, 0-pointer has now been released. Better watch out. Uraraka looked up to see a giant robot began to appear from the ground, surpassing the buildings in height. I sent that too much? She said as the giant robot swung its giant arms, destroying part of a building, sending parts of it flying towards the students. As she was standing on the street, Uraraka was caught by a piece of the building, pinning her under it, causing her to yell out in pain. Damn it, my leg is crushed, she said, trying to pull her leg free with little success. To make matters worse, the giant robot was now making her way. Is that thing not going to stop? Oh no, I'm going to get crushed. She tried to activate her quirk, but she was already at her limit. Other students ran past as she begged for help, but no one heard her as they ran for their lives. Dad, I'm sorry. Closing her eyes, Uraraka waited for the giant robot to crush her, but it never came. All she heard was the sound of it creaking. Opening her eyes, she found Izuku facing the 0-pointer. Man, that was close, wasn't it? He said, looking at her. Uraraka looked at the robot to find it tangled in a giant green net. Green Lantern. Hey, Uraraka. Sorry for not coming over for some cookies. I got caught up in some stuff, he smiled. It's fine, you can just come by tonight. Anyway, what are you going to do about that? She pointed at the robot. Oh, easy, Izuku let the net construct disappear to Uraraka's shock. What are you doing? It's going to crush us. Izuku smiled. Not on your life. Pointing the ring at it, Izuku created a small bullet and launched it at the robot. Piercing its body, the robot showed no signs of slowing down. Wait for it. Boom! A large explosion rattled the examination site. Izuku created a giant jar around the robot, encasing it and containing the fireball. Good. That was easier than I thought, he said, crouching down to Uraraka. That leg doesn't look good, hold on. Ring scan and diagnose. A beam of green scanned over Uraraka's leg. Analysis complete. Identified broken ankle, vital signs are normal. Risk to life low. Advice to move to secure location and apply first aid. Thanks, Ring. Now let's get that leg out from under there. Izuku created a green car jack and began to lift the piece of building off of her. Thanks, said Uraraka as she tried to get up. Hold on, what are you doing? Uraraka looked at him. You have a broken ankle, don't try to walk on it, you'll just make it worse, pointing the ring at her. Izuku created a stretcher. Just then multiple heroes landed surrounding Izuku. Green Lantern, you're under arrest, Present Mike said. I just saved a bunch of your examinees and this is how you treat me? Wow, UA students must really have it rough here. Izuku put his hands up in surrender. You just broke into the school. Do you actually believe we would just let you go? Said Midnight. Yes? I mean, realistically, I can just leave and you guys won't be able to stop me. The only reason I'm staying is because of her, he said, pointing at Uraraka on the stretcher he created. She has a broken ankle and needs help. Let me take care of that, son. An old lady with a cane walked in between the heroes. I can heal her up, no problem. Is that you, recovery girl? Oh wow, huge fan of your work, by the way. Izuku's eyes gleamed seeing her. The one and only, now come let me heal her. Izuku moved the screther closer to recovery girl. Kissing Uraraka on the leg, she was instantly healed. Good, you should rest. My quirk uses your energy to heal, so take it easy for a bit. Uraraka nodded. All right, now that's all done. I'll see everyone later. However, before Izuku could fly away, Cementos created a wall in front of him. You think we'll just let you go? Izuku created a giant jackhammer, breaking the wall into pieces. I'm leaving. Wait, a voice was heard. Turning, Izuku found a small mouse-slash-bear-looking creature approaching along with a skinny man wearing an oversized suit. Who are you? Asked Izuku. My name is Nizu. I am the principal here at UA, and if it's all right with you, I would like to have a few words with you if you have time, that is, he said politely. Is this some kind of trick? You're trying to lure me into some kind of trap, aren't you? Izuku said, puzzled. Currently not, I would never do that, promise, Nizu smiled. Yeah. I don't know you, so I don't trust you. Maybe another day, Izuku said, turning away. Very well, then another day, but how do we contact you? You can't. I'll contact you when I feel like talking. And with that, Izuku jumped into the air, leaving the heroes behind. Izuku returned to the orphanage where Sister Maria waited at the door. Izuku! She wrapped him in a hug. Welcome back. How'd it go? It went really good, Maria. I think I finally know what I want to do with my life, he said, pulling away from the hug. Really? That's great, Izuku. You can tell me all about it later. Right now, I need your help getting lunch ready for the kids, said Maria. All right, I'll go help you. Let me just put back my stuff and I'll go right now. Going up to his room, Izuku put his things away and went straight to the kitchen to help Maria prepare lunch for the kid. Once again, there wasn't enough to go around, so Izuku had a very small serving and let the kids have more. That night, while everyone was asleep, Izuku once again put on the ring and took to the skies, but he had to make one stop before he went to fight crime. Uraraka was in her tiny apartment waiting for the cookies to bake when she heard a knock on the balcony's glass door. Looking over, she saw Izuku waving at her. Getting up to slid the door open. Hey, you actually came. Come on in, cookies are about ready. As Izuku walked in, he noticed how empty her apartment looked. Wow, this is a nice place you got here. You think so? I think it's rather small. She laughed nervously. Take a seat at the table. I'll grab you some tea. Her kitchen is about the size of my room, and she thinks this is small. Here, Uraraka handed Izuku a cup. Hope you like green tea. Thank you, and yeah, it's my favorite. Taking a sip, Izuku noticed it tasted different. Wow, this tastes really good. Really? It's just regular green tea. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you again for saving me both times, she said, taking a seat across from him. No problem. Sorry I didn't drop by like I said I would, Izuku said, taking another sip of his tea. It's fine, really, I'm sure you were busy. The two awkwardly sat there, not speaking for a good minute. So, when do you know if you got into UA? Izuku asked, breaking the silence. Oh, I think they said in about a week. I've been meaning to ask, what's your quirk? Uraraka asked. Don't have one, said Izuku. What, don't have one? What about everything you did during the entrance exam? There's no way you did all that with no quirk. Uraraka practically jumped from her seat. No, really, I'm quirkless. My power comes from this ring. Izuku held up his hand. It's a powerful weapon that can create anything. The only limitation being my own imagination. Tell me to make something, anything. What about a lighter? Izuku pointed the ring towards the table and created a small green lighter. Uraraka picked it up, and to her surprise, it actually worked. All right, how about an All Might plushie? Izuku once again created exactly what she told. Picking it up, Uraraka felt how soft it was. Wow, and you can create anything you want. I need to be somewhat familiar with the object. But yes, anything I want, said Izuku, letting the lighter and the All Might plushie disappear. Wow, that is some amazing power. Why don't you become a hero instead of a vigilante? Asked Uraraka. That's a little hard to explain, but simply put, the ones who created the ring play by their own rules. Rules that I have to follow. Plus, I don't have the money for that, said Izuku. I see. Well, regardless of what they label you, you will always be my hero, she smiled. Izuku's eyes went wide when she said that. Imagines of Bakugo and All Might telling him that he couldn't be a hero played over and over in his head. And now this girl just told him that he, a quirkless boy, was her hero. Izuku's heart broke. Thank you. You don't know how many people said I couldn't be a hero. So thank you." Tears fell from his face. Hey, now don't cry," Uraraka said, panicked, not knowing what to do in this situation. Just then she heard a ding. "Oh, the cookies!" Running towards the oven, she brought the tray to the table. "Here, have some, they will cheer you up." Taking one, Izuku took a bite. "Thank you." Suddenly his mood changed. "Wow, these are even better than last time." Uraraka chuckled. "I would hope so. They aren't burnt this time." Izuku stuck around for a little while longer to just hang out and chat. The more he did, Izuku could feel something building in his heart. After a while, Izuku looked at the time and decided it was time to go back into the city. "Sorry about this, Uraraka, but I should go check on the city before heading home." "No, I get it. Go and keep the city safe." Izuku nodded and walked towards the balcony. "Oh right, here." Izuku created a small pager with a button. "A pager?" Uraraka looked at the green pager, confused. "Yup, if you're ever in trouble or in danger, just press the button and I'll be there," said Izuku. "Really? That's really thoughtful of you." Izuku blushed. "Anyway, make sure to always keep it on you." Bye. Izuku jumped into the air, still red-faced. "Bye, GL. I'll see you soon," she waved as he left towards the city. After a long night of taking some thugs, Izuku went back to the orphanage, but little did he know, just outside of Earth's atmosphere, multiple different colored rings floated around trying to find a new host. The great danger that the Guardians said that would happen on Earth was fast approaching. It has now been 2 weeks since he saved Uraraka from the giant robot. It was only 1 week ago that she started school at UA, yet she still found the time to wave Izuku down as he flew across the city to have some cookies and chat. The night before, Uraraka had told him that today they were going to practice rescues in different environments. Izuku was bored out of his mind in his room. He spent the night saving a sinking fishing ship off the coast of Japan. "Man, I'm bored," he said, laying on his bed. Just then there was a knock on the door. "Izuku, you in there?" It was Maria. "Yeah, Maria." Opening the door, she walked in. "What's up?" "I was wondering if you'd help shop from groceries," she said, putting her hands together. "Sure, give me a second. I'll meet you downstairs," Izuku said, smiling. "Awesome, thank you, Izuku." Closing the door, Maria went to get her bag. Izuku went to his desk and pulled the drawer, revealing the Green Lantern ring. "I better take this just to be safe." Taking the ring, he put it in his pocket. After getting changed, Izuku walked down the stairs to find Maria in a white sundress. Izuku's eyes went wide when he saw her. What? Does it look strange on me?" Maria asked, covering her embarrassed face. "And no, you look amazing, it's just I've never seen you without your nun outfit." Izuku snapped out of the trance he was in. "You really think so?" "Yeah, I wasn't too sure about wearing this, but since I'm still not a full-fledged nun, I can still wear stuff like this." "Well, enough of that, let's go," she said, grabbing him by the arm and leading him outside. With Uraraka. Uraraka was getting along with her classmates, while everyone but a certain kid called Bakugo. He was too hot-headed to even approach. Today they were going to a place called the USJ to train in rescue. After arriving, Uraraka was starstruck when she saw her favorite hero. 13 was one of the teachers who was going to be helping them. Uraraka kept the pager that Izuku had given her in the pouch of her hero costume. "You never know when I might need this. Plus, he did say to always keep it on me." That's when things started to take a turn for the worse. "All right, everyone, that will be all. We are now going to split you up and assign you an environment." Eraserhead, also known as Aizawa, explained when he felt something behind him. Turning around, he noticed a black portal opening up in the middle of the USJ. "Sir, what is that?" asked the Electro user Kaminari. "More bots." "No, those are villains," Aizawa said, getting in front of the children. "Shouldn't UA have security systems in place?" the speedster known as Ida said, shocked. "We do, but they must have someone disable them," said 13. Aizawa looked at his class. "Everyone, you need to get out of here. 13, protect the students," he said, putting down his goggles. "Sir, what are you going to do? Your quirk works stealth, not one-on-one fights," Uraraka said, voicing her concern. "Here's your first lesson. A hero is not a one-trick pony." And with that, Aizawa jumped towards the swarm of bad guys. "All right, everyone, let's get out of here," 13 said, ushering the kids to the door, but he was quickly stopped by one of the villains. "We wouldn't want you to leave so soon," the villain known as Kurojiri said, getting in front of the students and the door. We have a job today, and we are going to do it. So I would appreciate it if you don't leave until this is over. Kurogiri was interrupted by 13 as she activated her quirk black hole, trying to suck up Kurogiri himself. Now everyone run, she ordered. Not so fast, Kurogiri opened a warp gate in front of him and one behind 13, causing her quirk to shred her costume and back. This caused 13 to fall to the ground, bleeding from her back. Everyone run, she said before falling unconscious. Now that the teacher is out of the picture, it's time I do my job. Before Kurogiri could do anything else, Bakugo and Kirishima jumped at him, quirks at the ready. However, they soon found out that their attacks did nothing. How rude! Now be gone! A black mist began to cover the students, sending them away to different locations. Uraraka and a few others were lucky enough to escape the portal and were now face to face with the villain. Well, it seems some of you are still here. Shigaraki will be very displeased if you manage to escape, Kurogiri said, about to activate his quirk again. That's when Uraraka noticed something. When he activates his quirk, that metal part stays in place. That must mean he has a body somewhere in there. Guys, aim for that metal thing. If my guess is correct, that's his weakness. Running in, Uraraka managed to touch the metal part, making him float into the air. Ida, now run for it. Go call for the teachers. Hesitating for a second, Ida stood in place, not knowing what to do. He was the class rep. He should be here fighting instead of running. Ida, what are you doing? Move! Hearing Uraraka yell made him snap out of it and run towards the door. Managing to get free, Ida ran as fast as he could towards the main campus that was a few miles away. No! Shigaraki is not going to be happy about this. He turned to the group of students. You! He yelled, looking at Uraraka. You are coming with me. Opening a portal underneath her, Uraraka fell through and landed in front of Shigaraki and the Nomu. Oh, what's this? Shigaraki said. A new plaything for Nomu. Uraraka looked around to find Aizawa face down on the floor. Blood everywhere. Mr. Aizawa. Shigaraki, forgive me, but one of the students managed to escape, explained Kurogiri. However, I did bring the one who came up with the plan. You are lucky that you are our way out of here, Shigaraki said, scratching his neck. We should get out of here before the heroes come. But first, why don't we leave All Might a few bodies? Shigaraki grabbed Uraraka by the neck with 2 fingers. You don't know this, but my quirk allows me to disintegrate anything I touch as long as I have 5 fingers on what I want to disintegrate. Slowly, he put finger after finger on her neck. No, please no. Uraraka was too scared to do anything as the 3rd finger gripped her neck. Wait, the pager. I need to reach the pager. The 4th finger. Uraraka struggled to reach the pouch on her belt. Come, reach. Then to her horror, she felt the 5th finger just as she grabbed the pager. You really are amazing, aren't you, Eraserhead? Uraraka looked over to her side to find Aizawa looking at Shigaraki with red glowing eyes. Now's my chance. Uraraka pressed the button on the pager. Enough of this, Shigaraki threw Uraraka to the side. Nomu, deal with him. Then kill the girl. The Nomu grabbed Aizawa by the hair and slammed his head to the pavement with enough force to break it. Sliding on the floor, Uraraka watched as the giant Nomu crushed Aizawa's skull, then changed its attention to her. Slowly, it began to walk towards her, claws at the ready to finish her off. Please, Green Lantern, help me. The Nomu let out a loud roar as it swiped down with its massive claws. Closing her eyes, Uraraka heard the roar followed by something, the sound of glass breaking. Then nothing. Opening her eyes, Uraraka saw the glow of green in front of her. Hey Uraraka, sorry I'm late. Izuku turned and smiled at Uraraka. With Izuku a few moments ago. Izuku and Maria were walking out of the grocery with their hands full of groceries. Wow, I can't believe we had enough to buy this much, Izuku said, carrying boxes full of food. Yeah. Thanks to those donations you brought, we were able to save some money. Anyway, come on, let's head back, Maria said. As the two walked down the street, Maria looked at Izuku. Hey Izuku, is there anything you want to tell me? What do you mean, Maria? Izuku said, raising an eyebrow. I mean, you come back from your little trip and you have a different aura. It's almost like you're a totally different person. Izuku started to get nervous. Could it be you got a girlfriend? Izuku stumbled when he heard this. No, I don't. What makes you think I did? I don't know, just this gut feeling. Come Izuku, you can tell me, Maria teased him. Izuku turned red. Well, I did meet someone. I knew it. What's her name? Maria sounded excited. Achiko Uraraka. We met a while back and we've been talking ever since, he said. Aw, my little Izuku is growing up and here I thought you were going to end up alone, Maria said laughing. Hey, that's not nice, said Izuku. Sorry, well anyway just make sure to be careful, alright Midoriya. Love is a complicated thing and can make you do some crazy things. Listen to your heart but also remember to think about what you're doing. Her voice turned so serious. Whoa, she almost never calls me Midoriya, only when I'm in trouble or about to get lectured. Izuku smiled. I know Maria. I promise I'll be careful. Just then Izuku's ring began to beep and flash green. Oh no, that's the signal for the pager I gave Uraraka. She must be in danger. Izuku, what is that? Maria said, pointing at his pocket. Oh, that's. Izuku knew there was no getting out of this. Listen, I think it's about time you found out. Come with me. Izuku pulled Maria to a nearby alley out of the sight of anyone. Putting down the boxes, Izuku took out the ring and slid it on. As soon as he did, his uniform began to appear on him. Izuku, you're him. You're the Green Lantern. Maria dropped the bags of groceries. Yes, I am. Look, I'll explain everything when I get back. Right now, Uraraka needs me. Ring. Where is Uraraka? Izuku said, asking the ring. Located, USJ, approximately 15 miles from your location. Izuku nodded, and was about to take off when Maria stopped him. Izuku, wait, he turned to her. Be careful. I will. Maria. Izuku created a wagon to help her take the groceries back to the orphanage, and with that done, he took off into the sky at a high rate of speed. USJ. So who are these guys? Izuku said, pointing at the giant beast that laid below a bunch of ruble. Those are villains. They broke into the school, said Uraraka. You bastard, what did you do to Nomu? We need him to kill All Might. Shigaraki looked at Izuku. Wait, I know you. Yeah, you're that vigilante everyone is talking about. Yeah, that's me, the name's Green Lantern. Now I don't really appreciate you hurting my friend. The ring started to glow brighter. Izuku fired a green beam of energy at Shigaraki. Suddenly there was a loud roar and a flash of green. Izuku looked back where Nomu was to find it gone. Looking back, he noticed it was now in front of Shigaraki. Nice try, but with the Nomu here you won't be able to touch me. I see, then why don't I do this? Firing another beam Izuku at the Nomu, creating a solid net covering most of his body. Now he won't be able to move. Shigaraki smiled. Are you sure about that? The Nomu began to growl as cracks began to form around the net. Izuku focused harder on maintaining it, but every time the Nomu increased his strength trying to break free. He's getting stronger. Izuku grabbed his wrist to support himself. Nomu, break out, Shigaraki ordered. With a roar, the Nomu flexed, breaking out of the net, sending pieces of green construct flying. Impossible. Izuku put up his hands, trying to shield himself from the broken constructs. Looking up, he saw Nomu appear right in front of him, pulling his arm back. *T. Thinking fast, Izuku created a bubble around himself as the hit connected. The impact was so great that it forced Izuku to the ground, his bubble shield breaking the ground and causing a crater. Man, he's strong, he said, rubbing the back of his head. Green Lantern, look out, Uraraka yelled as Nomu jumped at Izuku. With a double fist strike, Nomu hit the shield repeatedly. Izuku focused hard as he saw cracks appear. Lifting his fists up high, Nomu brought them down, breaking Izuku's bubble shield, causing an explosion of green energy. In the crater, Izuku laid seemingly unconscious with half of his mask ripped off and his face bruised. Very good, Nomu, now finish him off. GL no, Uraraka yelled as Nomu's claws beared down on Izuku. Suddenly the sound of gunfire was heard. Izuku had created a M16 shooting Nomu, filling him with holes. Ha, got you. The Nomu backed away, bleeding from the gunshot wounds. Oh no, Nomu. Izuku smiled as Shigaraki yelled, shocked at what happened, then smiled. Is that what you wanted me to say? Well, tough luck. Super strength isn't his only power, you know. Izuku watched as the holes began to close. He has regeneration. Oh come on, that's not fair. Izuku switched it up and created a M124 minigun. The green bolts hit the monster, but it seemed to do very little as it walked towards Izuku slowly but surely. Seeing that the Nomu was now in close range, Izuku created two swords, slicing at its ankles, causing it to fall forward. Seeing his chance, Izuku jumped up and stabbed Nomu in the back. As it screeched out in pain, it quickly turned around, swatting Izuku away. Hovering, Izuku wiped the blood off of his lip. Damn, he's still not going down. Die! A voice yelled out, followed by a large explosion. Izuku knew who it was right away, as flashbacks when he was a kid played inside his mind. Bakugo managed to hit the Nomu with one of his explosions, knocking him back. That's when he noticed. Who the hell are you? I'm Green Lantern, listen. I appreciate you helping me, but this one is mine, Izuku said, which only pissed off Bakugo. What the hell did you say? Bakugo yelled out, but was cut off when the Nomu let out a loud roar. That voice, I've heard it before. You can yell at me all you want later. Right now, let's take care of this thing. Izuku created a suit of armor complete with a sword and shield around himself. At least that's something we can both agree on, Bakugo said as explosions rippled in his hands. Oh, you want to fight Nomu? Very well, alright Nomu, time to show them why we made you to kill All Might. With the wave of his hand, the Nomu ran towards them even faster than before. Izuku saw the Nomu disappear, then reappear behind Bakugo and raise his hand. Watch out! Izuku threw himself at Bakugo and raised his construct shield to defend him. But the shield proved to be no match for the giant fist. Shattering the shield, the Nomu picked Izuku up by the neck and began to choke him. Struggling to breath, Izuku raised the sword and jammed it into its arm. Screeching in pain, Nomu let go of Izuku, but before falling to the floor, he managed to punch Izuku, shattering the breastplate on the suit of armor, which sent Izuku flying to a nearby tree. You bastard! Bakugo yelled as he jumped in and fired a full-powered explosion at the Nomu. As the smoke disappeared, Bakugo was shocked to see Nomu still standing. Impossible? He doesn't have a scratch. Using his explosions, Bakugo dodged most of Nomu's attacks, but they still managed to scratch him. Izuku sat up against the tree. Alright Izuku, we saw how charging and got you. Why don't you think first? Ring power at 20%. Recommend immediate recharge, the ring warned him. Great. Now I'm almost out of power. I need to think of something fast. Izuku watched the Nomu fight Bakugo. He analyzed, thought back, trying to look for any weak points. That's when he remembered something. That's it. He obeys the hand guy. If I take him out, he shouldn't act on his orders anymore. Looking over at Shigaraki, Izuku noticed he wasn't paying attention. Rushing at Shigaraki, Izuku managed to tackle and pin his hands, making sure they didn't touch him. Putting a straitjacket on him, Izuku looked at the Nomu. Hey, ugly. The Nomu stopped attacking Bakugo and looked at Izuku. If you want your boss here to live, I suggest you stop. Izuku made the jacket tighter, which caused Shigaraki to yell in pain. That goes for you too. He pointed at Kurogiri without looking. Both the Nomu and Kurogiri stopped. Alright, easy. We'll do what you want, Kurogiri said, looking at the Nomu and giving it a nod. Just don't hurt him. That's more like it. You have two choices. LST is to take your monster and open a portal and walk away. Second option is I beat the hell out you, and honestly I really hope you choose the second option, Izuku said, holding on to Shigaraki. Actually, there's a third option. Nomu took a swing at the air, but suddenly a black portal opened in front of him, just big enough for this first to fly through. Kurogiri had opened another portal in front of Izuku's face. With no time to react, Izuku saw the giant fist appear from the portal, hitting Izuku square in the head, sending him flying. GL! Uraraka yelled out as he slid to a stop, not moving. Bakugo's eyes went wide when he saw what happened. The straitjacket around Shigaraki disappeared. Well, you certainly caught me by surprise, he said, getting up. But it seems you are still no match for the Nomu, he said, walking towards Izuku. Damn it, still alive I see. Bakugo, we need to help him, Uraraka yelled out. Bakugo nodded, but as they tried to run towards him, the Nomu jumped in front of them, stopping their advancement. Man, you are annoying. Shigaraki started to kick Izuku's side. Why don't you just roll over and die? After this, I'm going to take this Nomu and have some fun around the school. So many students. So many bodies, kick after kick he delivered, breaking a rib on the last one. What scared everyone the most was the fact that Shigaraki was laughing the whole time. Throughout the USJ, the students could feel their blood run cold. That laugh was something straight from a nightmare. Even those at the entrance stepped back in fear. Ring power level 10%. Out in space. The rings floated just above Earth. Suddenly, the yellow-colored ring began to glow. New host has been found. Scanning for location. Identified. Japan. In a yellow streak, the ring flew towards the ground. USJ. What do we do? Kirishima asked as he stood in front of his class near the entrance. We have to go help the green guy, Mina said but couldn't move out of fear. Why won't my body move? Come legs move, Todoroki said, yelling at his legs to move, but the fear kept him in place. Suddenly a large explosion was heard behind them. It's all right, students. There's no need to worry anymore. Why? Because I am here. All Might had joined the fight. All Might! They all yelled. Thank goodness you're safe, students. That's when he saw 13 laying on the ground. Looking around, he noticed 3 people missing. Listen to me, the other heroes are going to be here any moment, so stay here. I'll go save Aizawa and the others. Going to the edge of the stairs, he saw 2 of his students, and in the future he saw someone getting beat up. In an instant, All Might appeared in front of Bakugo and Uraraka. Get behind me, kids. All Might! Bakugo yelled out, causing Shigaraki to stop beating on Izuku. Well, if it isn't All Might, so you've finally come to play, Shigaraki said, whipping his shoe of Izuku's blood. You bastard! Faster than Shigaraki could track him, All Might got Izuku and Aizawa, putting him down beside Uraraka and Bakugo. Take the 2 and head towards the entrance. The rest of the class is there waiting. Uraraka used her quirk on the barely conscious Izuku, and Bakugo carried Aizawa over his shoulder. All Might, wait. Ring analyzes quirks. Izuku raised his hand and pointed at the Nomu. Quirks identified, super regeneration and shock absorption. The ring answered as Izuku passed out. Thanks, kid. I'll handle things from here now, get moving you two. They nodded and began to run towards the entrance with Izuku and Aizawa in tow. He may not be one of my students, but he has the heart of a true hero. It's time to pay villains. Nomu, get him, ordered Shigaraki. Nomu ran towards All Might at full speed. As the 2 clashed, a shockwave was felt throughout the USJ. Entrance. Bakugo and Aizawa were the first to reach the entrance, then followed by Uraraka and Izuku. Guys, you're all right, Mina said, happy to see her classmates. Wait, who that? She asked. This is Green Lantern. He saved me from the Nomu, Uraraka said, deactivating her quirk and putting him down gently. He's the vigilante everyone's been talking about? He's so young, probably no older than us, Kirishima said, looking over Izuku. Suddenly there was a yell coming from the center of the USJ, where All Might was fighting that thing. Everyone rushed over to see All Might getting pulled into the portal by the Nomu. Oh no! Uraraka yelled out. If they close the portal while he's in it. She paused at the thought of what could happen. Out of the way! Todoroki pushed Uraraka out of the way, activating his ice. The ice traveled far, until it reached the Nomu, freezing the hand that had the grip on All Might. With its grip now loosened, All Might managed to break free, but held his weak spot. Thank you, young Todoroki, All Might yelled out. Man, this guy is tough. I need to finish this fast. My time is running out. Nice work, Todoroki, said Momo. It won't be enough. Everyone turned to find Izuku had gotten up and was limping toward them. Green Lantern, you shouldn't be moving, Uraraka said, running to his side. But I'll be fine. It's All Might I'm worried about. That thing was designed to kill him. If this goes on any longer, he's going to die, Izuku said, looking at the fight. Is there anything we can do? Asked Toru, the invisible girl. Izuku looked back at everyone. I know you're all scared, but I need you to trust me. This fight is going to be over soon. To the surprise of everyone, they felt a wave of calm befall them. They didn't know why, but GL's words were calming. This short moment of tranquility was interrupted by a large boom, followed by a strong gust of wind. Looking back, All Might had taken a huge hit from Nomu. It was now or never. Izuku had to act. Everyone stay back. I'm going back in, he said, taking off. GL, wait. You should move, your injuries. Uraraka tried to warn him, but it was too late. Like a green bullet, Izuku flew towards All Might to back him up. All Might was breathing hard, his weak spot was bleeding, and his time was running out. He needed to do something. He watched as Nomu once again charged him. Putting up his guard, All Might braced for the impact. Suddenly, a green beam of energy shot across him, barely missing his head and hitting Nomu. What the? Turning around, All Might saw Izuku heading his way. Looks like you need some help, All Might. Me? What about you? You're just as damaged as I am, All Might said, wiping the blood from his lip. Didn't think I would see you again. Well, at least not here. Yeah. Funny how things turn out. Look, he has shock absorption, right? You think you can overclock his absorption? Izuku asked. Yeah, I can do it. You said his quirk was shock absorption, not nullification. That means he has a limit on how much he can take, All Might smiled, looking at the villains. Good. Once you feel he's reached his limit, leave the rest to me. In the meantime, I'll make sure they don't interfere, Izuku said, looking at Shigaraki and Kurogiri. Very well, let's go. All Might jumped in to fight the Nomu once again. Izuku, on the other hand, powered up once again. Tell me, why are you two doing this? Izuku asked, trapping the two villains in a box. We do this to rid the world of All Might. Kurogiri created a portal underneath them and popped out in front of the green box. But right now my objective is to kill you, he said, running at Izuku. I see, in that case. Izuku dropped his hand as Shigaraki lunged at Izuku, ready to disintegrate him. I don't need my ring to fight you. Ducking underneath his hand, Izuku elbowed Shigaraki hard in the stomach. Did you only think my ring was the only weapon I had? I don't need to solely rely on the ring. The Guardians and Kilowog trained me in hand-to-hand combat. That was the one area I excelled in. As Shigaraki fell to his knees, a strong gust of wind was felt. Izuku turned to find All Might punching the Nomu so fast and hard that he managed to lift him off the ground. Green Lantern, do it now! All Might yelled. With pleasure. Izuku rocketed towards the Nomu, tackling it, and he pushed it higher and higher. Sorry to do this to you, big guy, but if we leave you alive you'll just hurt people later. So now you die. Izuku constructed a large drill that dug into the Nomu's chest. As it reeled in pain, Izuku pushed harder. Faster the drill spun until finally it pierced the Nomu. Coming out the other side, Izuku floated in the air as it fell to the ground. As it did, the monster split into two halves and fell beside Shigaraki dead. All Might and the students looked on in shock at what Izuku just did. He just killed that thing, Kirishima said. Uraraka herself saw, surprised by the fact that he'd do something like that. There had to be a reason to kill it. All Might himself was in shock at what Izuku did. As the body hit the floor, he could see the now core of the Nomu. Green Lantern, why did you do that? He yelled out. Izuku floated down in front of All Might. What? I took care of the problem. What's the big deal? You just killed it. All Might shot back. Izuku turned to the body and back to All Might. Yeah. He's not getting the message. There was no reason to kill that thing. All Might thought, looking at Izuku with a stern look. You, Shigaraki voiced, broke through the face down Izuku was having. That was a present from my master. Suddenly everyone in the USJ could feel the bloodlust leaking out of Shigaraki. I'm going to make you pay for what you did. Go ahead and try it. You'll end up just like that monster, Izuku said as his ring began to glow. GL, that's enough. In the blink of an eye, All Might appeared in front of Izuku. Raising his hand, All Might slapped Izuku across the face, sending him crashing towards the ground. Gah! What the hell, All Might? Izuku said, getting blood dripping from his lip. You won't kill anyone anymore, All Might said, standing over Izuku. Narrowing his eyes, Izuku slowly got up. Is that what this is about? If I hadn't killed him, he would have just come back, and then what? Would you leave him to other heroes to handle? Not everyone is as strong as you are, All Might. I took one life to save countless others. There are always other ways. If he did show up again, we could have handled him. All Might rerouted. 100 people? 500? No, maybe 10,000. Izuku said, staring at All Might. What? How many people would have died if he was allowed to leave? Said Izuku. All Might choked on his words. That's not the problem here. We could have avoided it. Yeah? How many people do you think they can kill? Izuku pointed at Shigaraki and Kurogiri. One has the power to disintegrate things just by touching them, the other can open portals. As the two were arguing, something crashed into the USJ. Everyone looked up to see something yellow in color float down towards Shigaraki. Tamura Shigaraki of planet Earth. You have the ability to instill great fear. Izuku's eyes widened when he saw what it was. And oh! Izuku pointed his ring at Shigaraki and was about to blast him when All Might jumped in and grabbed his arm. I said enough. All Might gripped down on Izuku, causing him to scream. Let me go. You don't understand. If he gets that ring, it will mean certain doom. Then it happened. Welcome to the Sinestro Corps. Reaching out, Shigaraki grabbed the ring. When he did, the entire USJ was filled with yellow light. As the light disappeared, there stood Shigaraki, in black and yellow suit, and the Sinestro Corps logo on his chest. What is this? So much power. Shigaraki looked at himself. F***CK. Letting out an energy wave, Izuku pushed All Might away from him and fired a blast of green energy at Shigaraki. Shigaraki didn't even flinch as he created a shield blocking the energy. Interesting. This ring is a different color, but it has the same powers you have. Kurogiri, get us out of here. I want to do some testing. Kurogiri created a portal and warped the two of them out of the USJ. The fight was over, for now at least. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Izuku yelled out, cursing at the ground. He has a ring now. Izuku began to calm down. Ring power at 3%. I need to get out of here and think about my next move. Izuku began to take to the sky but was grabbed by the leg. What the? Looking down, Izuku saw All Might holding his ankle. And just where do you think you're going, young man? All Might pulled and threw Izuku to the floor so hard that it broke. There are things you need to answer for. But right now Izuku wasn't having none of it. Getting up, Izuku created restraints, pinning All Might to a nearby wall by the neck, arms, and legs. You're the reason they got away. If you hadn't stopped me, I could have stopped him. All Might tried breaking free of the restraints, but found that they wouldn't even move. Innocent people are going to die, and it's going to be your fault. Suddenly Uraraka and Bakugo appeared behind Izuku. GL? Let him go. Please, Uraraka yelled. Looking back, Izuku saw their faces. Just before letting him go, 3 shots rang out. Doting out of the way, Izuku was grazed on the shoulder, causing blood to drip from his arm. They're here. At the entrance, Ida had come back with reinforcements. Every teacher in UA was now standing at the entrance of the USJ. Izuku fell to one knee. Damn it! Just then Uraraka rushed to his side and whispered, Go to my apartment. I'll help you treat your injuries. Izuku looked at her and nodded, releasing All Might. This is far from over. Expect to hear from me soon. And with that, Izuku took off, breaking the ceiling and leaving the USJ. Fear. Izuku flew over the city, bleeding from his injuries. He has a yellow ring. I need to find him. That's when Izuku felt a sharp pain to his shoulder, almost causing him to fall out of the sky. Lucky he regained his control before he crashed to the floor, placing his hand where he felt the pain. Izuku noticed that his hand was now covered in blood. Not good. I took too much damage from that fight. Ring power 1%. The ring notified him. I need to hurry. Izuku pushed himself to go faster. He wasn't that far away. Landing on the balcony, Izuku noticed the sliding glass door was closed and locked. Creating a lockpick, the ring began to unlock the door. After a second, he heard a click signaling the door was now open. As soon as he had one step in the door, he collapsed, succumbing to his injuries. With Uraraka. It was now an hour since the fight, as the USJ and the principal allowed them to leave campus early and even gave them a few days off. Man, that was scary, Mina said as Class 1A walked off campus. I know, right, but at least they gave us these extra days off, said Kirishima. We were also lucky All Might and that Green Lantern guy showed up. Ribbit. Although I still don't agree with killing that thing, Tsu said, thinking back to the USJ. Uraraka, however, was silent. Why did he kill that thing? There had to be a good reason. For now, I need to hurry home. He probably needs help. That's when she turned to her class. Sorry guys, I have to hurry back home. My parents are coming by later. I'll make sure to text you all. Bye, she said, waving at them as she ran towards the train station. The class waved. Hey, did you guys find it weird that Green Lantern appeared and protected Achiko? Asked Mina. Now that you mention it, I did find it kinda weird, Momo said. She's hiding something. I'm gonna find out what. I know I heard that voice before, Bakugo said, breaking off from his class. Getting off at her stop, Uraraka quickly stopped at a convenience store and bought some first aid to treat GL's injuries. Opening the door to the apartment, at first she didn't see him. That is until she went to the living room and found a young boy lying on the floor unconscious. GL, she said, running to him. Flipping him over on his back, she noticed the blood dripping down his arm. Finding the source, she quickly ripped his shirt and applied a cetriol pad, stopping the bleeding. Then she moved down, feeling at his sides. When she got to his ribs, he let out a wince of pain. His ribs are probably broken, she said, removing the rest of his shirt. When she did, she was taken back by the enormous bruise. There's not much I can do about the bruising, but I can stabilize his ribs. Carefully, Uraraka wrapped Izuku midsection with bandage wrap. She then moved on to disinfecting his open wounds and bandaging them up. After she was done, she had burned through all the supplies she bought. At least you look better now. I should move him to the sofa. Laying on the floor must be uncomfortable, she said. Activating her quirk on him, she moved him to the sofa. Going back to pick up trash, she noticed a green-colored ring. What is this? It must be his. I'll hold on to it until he wakes up. Inside Izuku's head. Izuku opened his eyes to find himself floating in an empty void. Where am I? Oh God, did I die? Izuku began to panic, but suddenly the empty void turned green in color. Turning around, Izuku saw the source of the glow. There, standing before him, was a young girl around his age. Skin glowing green and wearing a green dress. Who are you? He asked, walking closer to her. Izuku, it's time for you to wake up, she said, pointing to the sky. That voice, I've heard before on OA. Suddenly there was a light shining on Izuku that came down from above. He could feel it pull him. Wait, I have questions. Tried as he may, Izuku couldn't escape the pull from the light. The last thing Izuku saw was the girl whispering something, and with that Izuku woke up from his dream. Wait, he yelled, scaring Uraraka, who was in the kitchen making dinner. Rushing to his side, Uraraka noticed he was breathing hard and sweating. Hey, look me, it's okay, you're safe. Izuku looked around and noticing he was in her apartment, he began to calm down. Thanks. Uraraka nodded. No problem, GL. How are you feeling? Izuku tried sitting up but couldn't due to his ribs being broken. I'm good, thanks to you. That's when Izuku could feel his mask was gone. Panicked, he began to touch his face. Looking down, he noticed his GL uniform was gone, as well as his ring. Oh no, she knows how I look like. You can relax. I won't tell anyone who you are, she said, pushing him back down onto the sofa. Why don't we try this again? My name is Achiko Uraraka. Can I trust her? I mean, she seems like a nice girl, and she did treat my wounds. Until she gives me a reason not to, I'll trust her. Izuku sighed. My name is Izuku Midoriya, you know me as Green Lantern. Thank you for looking out for me, Uraraka. Uraraka shook her head. I should be thanking you. Remember, you saved me and my class from that monster. Suddenly the sound of Izuku's stomach was heard. I'm guessing you're hungry? Izuku blushed. Why, yes, sorry about that. Don't be. I was making dinner anyway. I hope you ramen. It's the only thing I can make right now, she said as he tried to sit up. Easy now, I don't want you hurting yourself any more than you are. Stay here, I'll bring you the food. Izuku shook his head. Thanks, but I think I can manage, he said, trying to get up. Managing to get to his feet, but as soon as he tried to walk, he collapsed. Lucky for him, Uraraka was close by and caught him, for he hit the floor. On second thought, never mind. That's what I thought. No, go sit back down. I'll bring you your food right now, Uraraka said, going back to get the bowls of ramen. Izuku looked down at his hand to find the ring was missing. The ring, it's gone. Putting the 2 bowls of ramen on a small table, Uraraka sat down beside him and pulled the ring out of her pocket. Looking for this? She said, holding up the ring. Here, she said, handing it over to him. Thanks, he said, taking the ring and sliding it on. No problem. Now eat while it's still hot, she said, slurping up some noodles. Izuku, with one arm, managed to eat with little trouble. After enjoying the ramen, he thanked Uraraka. Now that really hit the spot. You're telling me, after everything we went through at the USJ, I needed this. Which reminds me, why aren't you all green like how you were back when fighting the Nomu? She asked. To answer that, you have to know my power comes from this ring. As to why I'm not all green, it's because it ran out of battery, so to say. I need to charge the ring every 24 hours or it just becomes a regular ring, Izuku explained. I see. So do you need a wire or something to charge? Uraraka asked, looking over the ring on his hand. Izuku chuckled. No, nothing like that. As crazy as it may sound, I need a special lantern that I have back at the orphanage. He froze when he said that word. Uraraka's eyes went wide. Orphanage? Why the orphanage? Izuku looked away. It's 'cause I live there. Oh. Yeah. The air around them turned very awkward. So, can I ask you something? Uraraka said, breaking the awkwardness. Sure, go ahead, Izuku said, turning to her. Why did you kill that thing? You've never killed anyone until now, she asked, wanting to know. I did it to protect you, protect your classmates, and protect others. Whatever that thing was, it wasn't going to stop. They could have locked it away, sure, but then you'll just be waiting for someone to break it out. The Green Lantern Corps taught me to deal with the enemy, and deal with it I did, said Izuku. While I am grateful that you saved my class and my friends, the heroes won't let this slide. They will be coming after you, Uraraka said with sadness in her voice. I know, that's why I'm going to speak with them, said Izuku. But he still saw that Uraraka was worried. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Besides, I don't answer to them. I answer to the Guardians, he said, patting her head. She smiled. Well, as long as you're all right, I won't stop you. On an unrelated note, how do you plan to go home? You're too injured to move. That's a good question. If the ring was charged, I would be able to fly home, said Izuku, looking at the drained ring. That's when Uraraka got an idea. Why don't I go get that lantern thing you were talking about? Are you sure? You would do that for me, Izuku said as his eyes gleamed. Yeah, sure, why not? It's the least I can do. You for saving me, Uraraka said, getting up from the sofa. You live in the orphanage just outside the city, right? Izuku nodded. Good, I'll go right now, I'll be back in a bit. Try not to move around too much, the bathroom is down the hall on the right. The TV remote is on the table if you want to watch something, she said, getting ready. Thank you for doing this, Uraraka. Oh, right before I forget, the lantern is in my room. Ask for Sister Maria, she'll show you to my room. She nodded as she walked out the door. After a bus ride outside the city, Uraraka was finally at the gate of the orphanage. Wow, this place is really run down, she said, staring at the old building. After a few moments, she decided to walk towards the door and knocked. Suddenly, the door opened and out popped the two twins. Uraraka was shocked. She expected an adult to answer. Oh, hi, she said, looking down at the twins. Hello, Lisa said. Is Sister Maria here? I need to talk to her, Uraraka said. The twins looked at each other and without saying a word left Uraraka. After a few seconds, the twins came back with Sister Maria. Hello, miss. How can I help you? My name is Achiko, Uraraka. I am a friend of Midoriya. Before she could say anything else, Maria grabbed her hands. So you're the girl Izuku told me about, Maria said with excitement in her voice. Why, yeah, that's me. Actually, sister, I need to talk to you about Izuku, is that all right? Said Uraraka. Yes, that's fine. Lisa, Levi, can you two give us a minute? The twins nodded and went away. So what would you like to talk about? Oh, Izuku needs me to get a lantern from his room. I know it sounds weird, but he's at my place right now and needs it, Uraraka said. I see. Well, if Izuku needs something, why didn't he come back here? Maria asked. Does she know who Izuku is? Wait, is Izuku injured? He went off to save her. What if he's hurt? Uraraka began to get nervous. Oh, you see, he twisted his ankle and is resting at my place right now. A likely story. Let me ask you something. Do you know who Izuku really is? Maria said, testing Uraraka. I have no idea what you're talking about. Midoriya is my friend and I just want to help him out. Uraraka's voice turned serious. I see, so you do know who he really is. So tell me what really happened, said Maria, crossing her arms. So I'm guessing you know he's Green Lantern? Said Uraraka, confirming. I do know. Tell me what happened. Uraraka proceeded to tell Maria what happened. How Izuku saved her class from villains, how Izuku was badly injured, and how he needed the lantern to get home. After explaining everything, Maria led Uraraka to his room to get the lantern. There they found the lantern. Good, now Izuku can get back here. Oh, and don't worry about his injuries. I treated them the best I could, Uraraka said, holding the lantern. Before you go, I want to tell you something. Maria's voice turned serious. I don't know you, or do I know what your motives are, and quite frankly you rub me the wrong way. That being said, since you know Izuku's secret, I will trust you. For now. Uraraka turned to Maria with a face filled with determination. I owe Midoriya my life, so I promise you. I will never tell anyone who he is. I don't much about him, but I do know this. He is an amazing person who wants to do the right thing no matter what. Maria smiled. Well, I can see why Izuku likes you. Anyway, you show head out and remember no telling anyone. As Uraraka was about to leave, a voice came from the window. Oh, leaving so soon? Why don't you tell me where the green lantern is before you leave? They too turned around and from the glass window to find two people floating outside the window. Shigaraki, Uraraka said, jumping back. Crashing through the window, the two figures touched down on the floor. That's right, you don't know who I am. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sinestro. Now tell me where the green lantern is, Sinestro said as his ring glowed yellow. Maria stepped in front of Uraraka. Who are you? Like I said, my name is Sinestro, leader of the Sinestro Corporation. I am here to dispose of the new green lantern. So tell me, where is he? Sinestro said as his yellow eyes sent fear into Maria's heart. We will never tell you, Uraraka said, gripping the lantern. Is that so? Well, I do have methods of getting what I want. For example, I'm sure you know what Shigaraki's quirk is, don't you, girl? It would be a real shame if something happened to this orphanage, Sinestro said, grinning. That's when Shigaraki stepped up. Tell me where he is. I have a score to settle, Shigaraki said, disintegrating the table. Uraraka stayed quiet, while Maria stood frozen in fear. We are getting nowhere. Shigaraki, do me a favor and kill everyone in this building. We will find the lantern soon enough, Sinestro said, turning his back on the two girls. Shigaraki's face twisted into a smile. With pleasure, the ring around his finger glowed and created a bomb with a timer that read 10 seconds. Uraraka and Maria's eyes went wide. Turning to the door, the two ran as the timer read 8 seconds. Everyone run, Maria said, running down the hall. As she did, she saw the twins and picked them up. Uraraka ran in front of Maria. No, this can't be happening. Why is Shigaraki here? That's when her eyes went wide in realization. Did they follow me? No, that couldn't be. Then how? 2 seconds. As Uraraka ran, the lantern power battery began to glow in her arms. Before she could do anything, Uraraka was engulfed in a green light and teleported away along with the battery, leaving Maria and everyone else in the orphanage behind. Uraraka's apartment. Izuku laid on the couch watching some TV when all of a sudden the room was covered in a green glow. As the glow disappeared, he saw Uraraka and the power battery. Uraraka? How did you? He was cut off when Uraraka pushed the battery to his chest. Midoriya, quick! Shigaraki is at the orphanage and he has a bomb. There's another. Izuku's eyes went wide. Suddenly there was an explosion that shook the building. And no, Uraraka's voice was shallow. Grabbing the power battery, Izuku slid on the ring and placed the ring on the battery. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. Wearing his uniform once again, Izuku took off at top speed towards the orphanage, pushing past the pain of his injuries that were still not healed. Despair. Izuku flew as fast as he could towards the orphanage. Please be still alive, he prayed as he made it to the orphanage, now a pile of wood and fire. Izuku looked on in horror at the destruction. Look who finally decided to show up. Izuku looked up to see Shigaraki and Sinestro floating high above him. Where are they? Izuku yelled out, his ring glowing brighter. If you are talking about everyone inside, they are most likely dead. Take a look, Sinestro said, pointed towards the broken building. Izuku floated down and began to dig, lifting logs and bricks, tossing them aside until he found something. In between the rubble, he found one shoe belonging to Lisa and right underneath the shoe another that belonged to Levi. He knew what had happened to them. Tears began to run down his face. Then from his left Izuku heard the ruble move. Getting up he quickly had his way towards the sound. There he found a white piece of cloth. This is Maria's dress. He threw the logs away and finally found her hand. Maria! After a few seconds he managed to free her from the ruble. Izuku's eyes widened as he saw the state she was in. Cuts covered her front. Her face bled from the open wounds. Then he saw her back. It was scorched and her skin turned to black from the heat. Izuku, Maria said, gasping for air. I'm here, Maria. I'm here. Izuku grabbed her arm, to which she winced in pain. To the twins. Are they safe? I tried to shield them, she said as his voice began to grow weaker and weaker. Izuku swallowed a lump in his throat. He didn't have the heart to tell her not now. They are fine. You saved them, he said, smiling, trying to comfort her. Maria smiled when she heard the news. Gee, good. Good. Listen to me, Izuku. There is something you have to know. It's about your parents. Not now, Maria, save your breath, you need to hold on for just a bit longer, Izuku said as panic began to fill his voice. And no, listen. You have to know. With all her remaining strength, Maria managed to push through the pain and sit up to whisper something in his ear. Izuku's eyes went wide as she fell once again to the floor. No, that can't be. Her eyes were barely open now, but tears still ran down her face. I'm sorry, Izuku, for not telling you sooner. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Izuku felt her hand go limp. Maria. No. Please, Maria, wake up. You can't die like this. With her last breath, Maria smiled and said one final, I'm sorry. Closing his eyes, Izuku got up. Ring. Scan for vitals. The ring scanned her body. Scanning. Scan complete. Vitals not detected. Person is deceased. Clenching his fists, Izuku turned to Sinestro and Shigaraki, who were just floating in the air. They were my family, he said as the green glow of the ring began to cover him. Sinestro looked around. Oh, I'm sorry, are you looking for someone to care? Because I don't. Why? Why did they have to die? Izuku said, yelling out, flying up into the air to meet them. Sinestro twirled his mustache. Why, you say? Simple, really, it's because of you and that ring. It's because you are a Green Lantern. So you're saying this is my fault? That their deaths were caused by me? Tears began to fall from Izuku's face. Simply speaking, yes, Sinestro said with a cold voice. Izuku said nothing as he hung his head. Can we move this along? I want to kill him already, said Shigaraki. Oh, very well, you may do as you please. Although it looks like he has lost the will to fight, Sinestro signaled Shigaraki to attack. Shigaraki pointed his ring and created yellow construct missiles and fired them as Izuku. He didn't move. The explosion that followed was massive. He didn't move. Why? Uraraka got off 2 stops away from the orphanage. As soon as the bus left, she was knocked to the floor by a strong gust of wind. Looking up, she saw the fireball in midair. Oh no, Midoriya! Without thinking twice, she took off running, hoping to back him up, but she was still a mile away. As the fireball disappeared, there was Izuku. His wounds had opened up again and was bleeding. This was my fault. The glow around Izuku began to flicker. Shigaraki then appeared in front of Izuku and with a powerful right hook to the cheek, he sent Izuku flying back. Thinking fast, Shigaraki created a wall, stopping him flying back farther. Getting in close, he began to beat Izuku. Punch after punch, Izuku didn't so much as flinch. The punches were so hard that the yellow construct wall began to crack. Stopping momentarily, Shigaraki grabbed Izuku by the neck, making sure no to activate his quirk. Fight back. Punch. Come on, fight back. Punch. Blood splattered over Shigaraki's face. Still Izuku did nothing. Then Sinestro appeared beside Shigaraki. It seems he wants to die. Odd fellow. Why don't you put him out of his misery? Sinestro smiled. With pleasure, he said, throwing Izuku to the floor. As Izuku laid on the floor, the green light finally faded. Broke and bleeding, he laid now in his plain clothes. I'm sorry, Lisa, Levi, and Maria. Izuku watched as Shigaraki dropped down towards him, with a hand outstretched ready to turn him to ash. At that very moment, Uraraka arrived. GL! She watched as her friend was about to be turned to ash. Suddenly, a green energy beam came in and hit Shigaraki away from Izuku. sending him flying into the trees. Who dares? Sinestro said, turning to the source of the blast. Oh no! Flying down Kilowog along with multiple members of the corp. Landing in front of Izuku, they pointed their rings at Sinestro and Shigaraki, who was getting back up. Sinestro, I should have known you would come looking for the boy, Kilowog said, his ring glowing. Kilowog, how nice to see you again. However, I do find it really rude that you just barge in here. This is none of your concern, Sinestro said, putting up his guard. That's where you are wrong, Sinestro, a voice said, appearing behind him. Turning around, Sinestro found Ganthet behind him. Before he could even speak, Ganthet fired a blast of willpower at Sinestro. He quickly created a shield, but it would prove useless against Ganthet. The blast engulfed him, sending him flying. You should have left the boy alone. Sinestro! Shigaraki yelled after him, creating a net. He caught Sinestro. You need to leave now, Sinestro said, breathing hard, and his blood ran down his lip. Go into the city and take off your ring. I'll distract them. Shigaraki nodded. All right, I'll wait for your signal. Flying back towards the Ganthet. Well, it's been a long time, Ganthet. Yes, it has. Why are you on Earth, Sinestro? Ganthet asked. That is none of your business. Sinestro looked over at Izuku, who was being looked after by Kilowog. He's a special one, isn't he? Ganthet said nothing. Well, as much as I enjoy a good silent treatment, I think it's time I say goodbye. Pointing his ring in the air, Sinestro created a yellow ball of energy, and when it reached high enough, it broke into hundreds of yellow construct needles. Lanterns, deploy shields, Ganthet said as he created a shield over himself. The other lanterns followed suit, creating shields over Izuku. That's when Sinestro and Shigaraki made their escape. Sinestro flew into space at top speed while Shigaraki flew towards the city. Damn Sinestro, he's getting away, Kilowog said as the construct needles continued to fall. That's when he noticed Uraraka dodging needles. What the? Kilowog created a rope and wrapped it around Uraraka's waist, to which he then pulled her under the construct shield. Stay put and look after him. She nodded. After a few seconds, the needles finally stopped raining down. Kilowog looked down at Izuku and he was hurt badly. Ganthet, the boy! Rushing to his side, Ganthet noticed Uraraka. She had a worried look on her face. Step aside for a second. Don't worry, we are here to help him, Ganthet said. This calmed Uraraka down. Ganthet hovered his hand over Izuku. Just then a green glow began to cover Izuku's body. Uraraka watched as the wounds began to disappear. Amazing! There, that should do it. However, I fear it will be a while before he wakes up. We need to take him somewhere safe, said Ganthet. It's best if we move him off the planet, Kilowog said, giving his opinion. Excuse me, Uraraka said shyly. Everyone turned to her. If it's all right, we can take him back to my apartment. He can rest comfortably there, I promise. Ganthet looked at the other green lanterns. We appreciate the gesture, but suddenly the sound of sirens was heard. On second thought, let's go. It's still too soon for us to show ourselves. Take us there. They carried Uraraka in a green construct bubble. Leaving just before the police, she directed the rest of the green lantern to her apartment. Once inside, they put Izuku on her bed so he could get rest easily. How is he? She asked as she brought them tea. Physically, he's fine, but it's mentally that has me worried, Ganthet said as Uraraka placed a cup of tea on the table. Thank you, dear. Losing one family member is hard enough, but he just lost everyone he considered family, said Kilowog. Ganthet took a sip of his tea. Now he has no family and no place to go. Ganthet, what should we do? I don't know, Ganthet said, hanging his head. He can stay with me. They turned to Uraraka. He doesn't have anywhere else. He can stay with me. I know what it's like to lose a family member. Maybe I can help him get through this. She does know his identity. I'd say give the girl a chance, said Kilowog. Ganthet smiled. Uraraka, was it? You have an amazing heart. You, my girl, are very compassionate. Ganthet, there is still the main reason why we came here, Kilowog reminded Ganthet. That's right, Uraraka. Would you be able to take us to this place called UA? We have been monitoring Izuku's movements since he left OA, and it appears we need to have a talk with UA and these so-called heroes, Ganthet asked. Uraraka nodded. Yeah, actually Midoriya was going to do the same thing tomorrow, but now, I'm going. A voice was heard from the hall. Everyone turned to find Izuku standing there. Midoriya, are you sure after what happened? You need to take some time off. Uraraka was cut off by Izuku. I'll be fine, Uraraka. He gave her a smile and she didn't like that. But she tried to voice her concern, but Izuku cut her off. I'm fine, he snapped at her. I'm sorry. She grabbed his hand. It's all right. Look, if you really wanted this, then fine. I won't stop you. He nodded. So what's the plan? We just show up at UA. That's the plan. Unless you have a better one? Kilowog said. Wait, everyone turned to Uraraka. I have an idea. The next day. No one else was on campus except for the teachers. So what do we know about the villains? Asked Aizawa. Not much, only that they call themselves the League of Villains. Nizu, a small bear-slash-mouse-looking creature, said, going over the report. What about the Green Lantern? All Might said. Nothing yet. However, there was a sighting yesterday, said Naomesa, the police detective. I still can't believe he killed that thing. Honestly, I think it was a good thing that he did, Aizawa said over the phone since he was still in the hospital. You can't be serious? Said Midnight, the 18-plus hero. I'm always serious. If he didn't kill that thing, then it would have killed everyone in the USJ, he said as Recovery Girl wrapped him in some fresh bandages. Even so, there are other ways he could have dealt with the threat, All Might said, punching the desk. Regardless, there is a warrant for the Lantern's arrest in place. Any and all heroes are to engage him on site, Naomesa said. Suddenly the alarms in the school began to sound. What's going on, Nizu? Asked Present Mike. A screen appeared in the middle of the table, showing inside the quad area. It appears someone is on the campus. Oh, what's this? It seems one of your students, All Might, and she accompanied by someone you've been looking for. Standing up, All Might looked at the screen and it showed Uraraka with Izuku by her side. Everyone follow me. All Might took off to confront Green Lantern. In the quad area, Uraraka and Izuku looked around. So do you think he's going to show up? Izuku asked. Uraraka nodded. He will. Suddenly something hit the ground hard, kicking up dust and debris. Speak of the devil. Green Lantern, you are under arrest, All Might said, pointing at Izuku. Look, I'm not here to fight. I just want to talk, Izuku said, putting up his hands. There is nothing to talk about. You murdered and you were going to murder again. I have to stop you right here, right now. All Might jumped at Izuku. But Izuku isn't playing any games. He quickly fired off a blast of willpower, knocking back All Might. He slid on the floor until he came to a complete stop a few meters away. Izuku quickly floated above him and pointed his ring at him. I said I'm here to talk. Back at the USJ, I held back against you out of respect. Don't make me show you what I can do. I'm really not in the mood to play games, he said as the ring began to glow. All Might started up, looking at the ring's glow. That's enough, young man, a voice said a few feet away. Izuku looked up to see Nizu walking towards him with the detective and other teacher behind him. You said you had something you wished to discuss? Yes. I'm here to talk about what happened and what he's responsible for. The people he let die, he said, motioning to All Might. Those are some serious accusations. Why don't you let him go and we can discuss this? Nizu said, trying to compromise. What guarantee do I have that you won't just attack me like he did? Izuku said, looking back at Nizu. All Might, do you promise not to attack him until we hear him out? Nizu asked the fallen hero. Very well, as long as he doesn't do anything to the school, I won't do anything, All Might said in a defeated tone. Your word means nothing. That's when Uraraka stepped up. GL, trust me when I say he won't do anything. You do trust me, right? Izuku turned to her. Yeah, I do. Izuku let the glow of the ring disappear. Fine, I'll trust your word, Uraraka. Izuku made his way to Uraraka, letting All Might go. Nizu and the teacher noticed the shift of tone when GL was speaking to Uraraka. Very well, let's go inside. Wait, I never said I was alone. This had the other puzzled. You can come out now, he said, talking to his ring. Suddenly Kilowog and Ganthit appeared in front of Izuku. Hello? My name is Ganthit, Guardian of the Universe. We have much to discuss, he said, talking to Nizu. After everyone won, Ganthet explained who he was and who were the Green Lanterns. So let me get this straight. He's part of an intergalactic police force that goes around helping people on other planets, with weapons that run on willpower and seem to have no limit to their power? All Might said. In a basic sense, yes, Ganthet said, taking a sip of tea Nizu had offered them. Oh, this some good tea. To think aliens exist, Nizu said, falling back on his chair. Well, believe it, you're looking at one right now, Kilowog motioned to himself. So you see, a Green Lantern is far above your rules, and we want you to leave him alone, especially now that there is a Yellow Lantern on your planet, Ganthet said, putting down his tea. Nanomesa wrote everything down on his notepad. That's going to be difficult. He has to follow our rules. That means no killing. No, I won't follow your rules. Too many innocent people already died because you stopped me from killing Shigaraki, Izuku said, slamming his hand onto the desk. You said All Might was responsible for the deaths of some people. Care to explain? Said Nizu. Do you know of the orphanage that was on the outskirts of the city? Nizu nodded. The people there were taking care of me, they were like my family. But Shigaraki found them and killed them. Izuku clenched his hands. He killed every single one of them, all because he stopped me. The room fell silent as Izuku grinded his teeth. Uraraka went over and hugged him from behind, trying to comfort him. The actions you took against the Lantern resulted in their deaths, All Might. You claim to be the symbol of peace, but you fail to do what needs to be done to keep this world safe, Ganthet said, speaking up. Here on Earth we believe that everyone deserves a second chance. Even villains, said Nizu. And what if they don't change? Can you live knowing that they killed more people because you let them free? Ganthet retorted. Nizu was about to speak but stopped. The words wouldn't come out. As I thought, I am here not to ask you to stop. I'm telling you to stop. Get in his way again and you will all face our judgment, he said as Izuku, Kilowog and Uraraka began to get up to leave. And what about you, young Uraraka? Do you believe I made the right choice? All Might said, stopping them. Uraraka back at All Might. What I believe doesn't matter. What does is that I want to help. No, to save people. Take one life to save countless others? I don't know, maybe I'll find the answer someday. Right now he needs my help and I intend to help him. I'll see you all in class. And with that she walked away from the meeting. So what do we do? Asked Midnight. The police chief will not be happy about this, but I think we should leave him alone, Naomesa said, looking down at his notes. All Might didn't like that. Are you crazy? We can't allow him to continue this. I won't allow it. Maybe there is something we here at UA can do. He wants to be a hero, yes? Then why don't we offer him a spot here at UA, as a sort of temporary position, as a work study kind of thing. That way we can monitor his movement, that is if he accepts, Nizu offered. I still don't like it, but it's a temporary solution. I'll get in contact with him, All Might said, getting up from his seat. No, said the voice of Aizawa over the phone. He blames you for the deaths of his loved ones. Once I'm good enough to walk, I'll meet him. Nizu sighed. Very well, but you will heal first. Izuku was taken back to Uraraka's apartment. They talked about the Green Lanterns and told Uraraka how Izuku got this power. Kilowog even told Izuku some tips on how to deal with the Yellow Lanterns. It was now night time and time for Ganthet and Kilowog to leave. So can we leave him in your care? Asked Ganthet. Yes, I promise you I will take care of him, Uraraka said, smiling. Good, we'd hate if something bad happened to the twerp, Kilowog said, messing with Izuku's hair. This caused Izuku to smile slightly. Thank you for worrying about me. Of course, now if you have problems with the heroes again, contact me and I will come down here again. Remember, Izuku, if a Yellow Lantern appeared then, that means the others will follow. Izuku nodded. Oh, and one more thing, Izuku. Don't hold in your emotions, they will only cause you further pain. Izuku and Uraraka watched as they took off into the sky, leaving the two on the balcony. They waved goodbye as they flew higher into the sky and disappeared from view. The pair made their way inside. As soon Uraraka stepped inside, she was immediately hugged by Izuku. This caught her by surprise at first, but then she heard the sound of him crying. Uraraka hugged him back. It's okay, Midoriya, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. Unknown bar. Shigaraki made it back to his hideout. Walking inside, he found Kurojiri cleaning cups. Oh, Shigaraki, you're back. Did you do it? Did you kill the lantern? No. I was about to when some of his friends showed up and stopped me. Now Sinestro said he would come back, but I don't know when, Shigaraki sighed. Whatever, I'm going to rest for a bit. Do not disturb me. Wait, Shigaraki. There is actually something waiting for you in your room. I don't know what it is, but it's covered in a yellow glow. Shigaraki's eyes went wide. Going to his room, Shigaraki found a yellow construct box on his bed. Going to it, he opened it, and inside it had a yellow lantern battery. Shigaraki smiled. Perfect. With this ring, I can help Master achieve his goal. Outside of UA, all was quiet. Everyone had already gotten home for the day. The outline of something was seen walking along the walls of the school due to there being no lights. You couldn't see what it was, but all you saw was the glow of yellow eyes was seen. However, these were not the eyes of a person but rather a cat. As it walked out of the shadow, a red suit covered its blue fur. Meow, finally walking completely out of the shadow. The glow of a red power ring was seen on its tail. Job? It has now been a couple of days since Izuku had lost everything. Just as she promised Gant that she was taking care of Izuku. While she went to school, Izuku would go around the city patrolling. She could tell he was hurting. She could catch a glimpse of him on the balcony staring in the direction of the orphanage. The teachers at UA had a lot of questions for Uraraka when she went back to school. The main question being, did she know who the Green Lantern is? She always tried to not answer questions, but this only made the teachers, especially All Might, mad. They even threatened her with disciplinary action, but she would just respond, "You can expel me, but that wouldn't get you answers you're looking for now, would it?" "Very well, Uraraka. Well, if you can at least get in contact with him, we much appreciate it," Nizu said the last time he saw her. "And that's what he said. He's been asking me for the past week to get into contact with you," Uraraka said. Taking a bit of her dinner, Izuku prepared a simple rice and grilled fish dish. Maybe I should go, just to see what he wants," Izuku said, sitting down to eat. "Yeah. You don't think this is a trap, do you?" Uraraka asked with worry. Izuku shook his head. "No, I don't think so. He's not dumb enough to do anything. All Might, on the other hand, is another question. Regardless, I'll go with you just in case they think of trying something," she said. Izuku smiled. "All right, I'll show up at the school around lunchtime. For now, let's finish this food up. It's getting cold," Uraraka nodded. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. "You expecting a delivery, Uraraka?" Izuku asked. "No, I haven't ordered anything." The knocking got louder and harder. Izuku got up and grabbed his ring that was on the table. Slipping it on his uniform formed around him. "Be careful," he said as she went to open the door. As soon as she opened the door, a loud voice was heard. "Achiko!" Seeing who it was, Uraraka slammed the door. "Who is it? An enemy?" Izuku said, on guard. "And no, it's my dad," she said, panicked. "Oh, is that all?" Izuku said, putting down his guard. "You don't get it, he doesn't know you are here. I never told him, and if he finds out, he'll make me move back with him. Not to mention what he will do to you," Uraraka muttered. That's when it began to click. "T, you're right. What do I do?" "Achiko, why did you close the door? It's your dad, let me in." "Wait. There better not be a boy in there," Mr. Uraraka said, banging on the door. Uraraka began to play every scenario in her mind. "Go hide in my room." "All right," Izuku quickly took off the ring and ran into her room and hid under the bed. Finally opening the door, Uraraka was greeted by her father. "Hey, Dad," she said, smiling. "Achiko, why did you close the door on your dad?" he said, pretending to cry. Uraraka laughed. "Sorry, I needed to change." "Yeah, that's it." "Oh, are you sure? Because I think I heard another voice in here." Mr. Uraraka was a tall man, 6 feet tall at least and full of muscle. A drop of sweat dropped from Uraraka's forehead. "And no, of course not." She played with her hair nervously. Mr. Uraraka eyed her. "Well, all right then. So are you going to let me in?" "Oh, right. Come on in, Dad, I was just eating some dinner," she said, inviting him in. As Mr. Uraraka walked in and noticed 2 plates of food. "Wow, UA must have you starving, huh? 2 plates of food?" Uraraka freaked out for a bit. "Oh yeah, the training is pretty intense, so I need the extra food." "Makes sense." He sat down at the table. So Achiko, how have you been? I heard what happened at the USJ. I would have come sooner but work had he tied up the last couple of days. Uraraka heard the sadness in his voice. Dad, it's all right. I know you're busy working. It's the only reason why I'm going to UA. So don't you dare feel bad. Mr. Uraraka smiled. Just like your mother. Always had a way with words. Yeah, I miss her every day, said Uraraka, looking down at the plate of food. So do I, Achiko, so do I. But I still believe she's out there somewhere. Anyway, how's school? I want to hear everything, he said with enthusiasm. Uraraka proceeded to talk to her father about school, her classes, friends, the teachers, basically everything. After a few hours, it was now about 11 p.m. and time for her dad to leave. Well, Achiko, sorry I couldn't stay for more time. I just wanted to make sure you were all right. It's fine, Dad. You have work in the morning, so go on or you're going to miss the last train, she said, standing at the door. Well, all right then, don't forget to call once in a while. And with that, Mr. Uraraka left. Uraraka waved him goodbye and closed the door. As soon as she did, she let out the greatest sigh of relief. Oh God, that was close. You're telling me, Izuku said, appearing from the room. I don't even want to begin to imagine what your dad would have done to me. Well, at least he's gone now, said Uraraka. Yeah, well, I got to patrol, you should get some sleep. Tomorrow I'll go to your school around lunchtime to figure out what Nizu wants. Izuku slipped on the ring once again. Sounds like a plan. Oh, and be careful, all right. Izuku nodded as he opened the door to the balcony and took off into the sky. As Izuku flew into the night, he thought back to when he was little growing up in the orphanage, his time playing with the twins and talking to Maria. She was like the mother he never had, and to lose her in that manner broke him. Suddenly, a loud boom was heard, snapping Izuku back to reality. Looking over, he saw that the rails had been blown up. These rails in particular were elevated over a major road, and the train was heading straight for the hole. Oh no! Izuku quickly flew towards the broken rail. The train was already trying to slow down, but it wouldn't make it in time. Thinking fast, Izuku created green construct pillows in front of the train. One after the other, the train crashed into them, slowing it down. Just a few inches away from the hole, Izuku stopped the train. He created a slide to let the people off the train and towards the ground. Izuku flew down to check on everyone. Anyone hurt? He asked. And no, I think we are all right. Thank you, Green Lantern, a man said. Izuku nodded. No problem. Walking amongst the passengers, he noticed a father and mother hugging their son, who was no older than 5 years old. Are you all right, sweetie? His mother asked. Why, yeah, Mom, I'm all right, he said, hugging her back. That's when the father noticed Izuku. Thank you, my family would have died if you hadn't showed up. Izuku smiled. I'm just glad to help. Hey kid. The little kid looked at Izuku. Remember to love your parents, all right, you never know. He stopped, thinking back to Maria, how she played with him when he was a little kid. Anyway, be careful, all right? Izuku walked away from the family and went off to the side. He decided to wait until the paramedics showed up to check on everyone. That's when someone came up behind him. You all right, kid? Turning around, Izuku found a man about 6 feet tall, with brown eyes looking at him. Huh, yeah, I'm all right. Don't lie, kid. I've seen that look before, the man said. You're hurting. I lost some people I considered my family recently, and seeing them brought back some memories, Izuku said. He didn't know why he just said this to a stranger, but the aura around felt familiar. I see. I figured it was something like that. I'm sorry for your loss, kid. I know that look well because my daughter had the same one when she lost her mother. My wife, the man said, placing a hand on his shoulder. Thank you, sir, Izuku said, wiping a tear away. What you did today was simply amazing. I know whoever you lost is very proud of you, the man said, smiling. Thank you, mister. Actually, I never caught your name, said Izuku. Kanzuya Achiko, he said with his hand out. Izuku's eyes went wide. It couldn't be right? Strange coincidence. Excuse me, Mr. Uraraka, but you wouldn't happen to be related to someone named Achiko Uraraka? Yes, actually, she's my daughter. How do you know here? He asked, tightening his grip on Izuku's hand. Actually, she's a good friend of mine. I actually saved her a while ago, Izuku explained. Oh, is that right? Well, I should be thanking you. My little girl can be quite the handful. Well, I know you're a vigilante, but still you're my hero. Izuku's heart tightened. Then the sound of sirens was heard. Oh, I guess that's your cue to leave. Stay safe, kid. Izuku nodded and took off into the sky once again. He looks intimidating, but he's a good man and a good father. The next day, Uraraka was with her friend Ida and Tsu eating lunch talking about. Class was tough, wasn't it? Ribbit, Tsu said, taking a bit of her food. You got that right, I guess. That's all part of being a hero, said Uraraka. A true hero should be smart and powerful, Ida said, fixing his glasses. Yeah, sure, but what about that vigilante Green Lantern, said Tsu. The one who saved us at the USJ. While I don't agree with his methods, I do believe he is trying to do some good, Ida said, defending GL. Right? Honestly, he looks so cool. Uraraka said excitedly that people were accepting him. I just wish we can thank him for saving us. You know, Achiko, I find it weird that he appeared and saved you first, and if I remember, it looked like you two seemed to have some sort of relationship? Tsu said, raising an eyebrow. Uraraka choked on her food. What, no way. Now that you mention it, I do recall a moment when the lantern was speaking to you, said Ida. This only caused Uraraka to blush. But before they could ask her any more questions, a familiar alarm was heard signaling an intruder. However, this time the students did not panic, but were surprised to see Green Lantern floated outside the cafeteria. Speak of the devil, Tsu commented, looking at Izuku. Izuku landed outside the cafeteria, to which he was greeted by All Might and Aizawa. Glad to see our message reached you, Aizawa said, looking at the teen. I figured I might as well come. I could feel the heroes looking at me every time I went out on patrol, Izuku responded. Regardless, we are happy you are here, All Might said with his hand out. Izuku looked at his hand and chose to walk by him, ignoring him. Let's get this over with. I'll listen to what Nizu has to say, but no promises after that. He'd still haven't forgiven All Might and honestly maybe never will. Izuku was taken through the cafeteria. He could hear the students muttering, wondering why he was here. Looking around, Izuku spotted Uraraka through the crowd and smiled, and Tsu caught the small exchange. However, there was one student in particular who was staring at Izuku. He looks like someone I knew, Bakugo thought as he followed Izuku with his eyes. Principal Nizu's office. Izuku was ushered into the office. Opening the door, he noticed Nizu sitting on his desk. Ah, Green Lantern, so glad you can come. Please have a seat. Izuku obliged him and sat down. Tea? Nizu asked. Sure, thank you, he said as Nizu put a cup down in front of him. Izuku took a sip. It's good. Glad you liked it, now let's get down to business. Green Lantern, we'd like you to work for us. Izuku was taken back by this. Excuse me, what? I'd like you to help us with the upcoming sports festival, said Nizu. Is this some sort of trick? Izuku trying to find an alternative motive. No tricks, to be honest with you, we couldn't get enough heroes to help guard this event. And well, since you have gained the trust of the people, I saw it fitting that you could help our students. Improve your image, Nizu said, hopping off of his chair. Do you think this will help get some of the heroes off my back? Izuku asked. I believe so. What do you think, Eraserhead? Nizu said, looking at Aizawa. Yes, I do believe this could help you. I for one am thankful you saved me and my class. Yes, your actions were different, but it resulted in me and everyone in my class walking out alive, Aizawa said, wrapped in bandages. All Might remained silent, but he didn't have to say anything. Izuku knew what he was thinking. Yeah, I'm still not convinced. How about we sweeten the deal? We will pay you for your services, Nizu said, holding up a finger. Izuku paused. Pay me? A vigilante? You serious? Of course, Nizu said, smiling. I could repair her back for all she's done for me. Izuku didn't realize he just said that out loud. Nizu, All Might, and Aizawa all heard it. Oh, there's someone you owe a lot to? Nizu asked. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry, but yes, I owe this person a lot. If it wasn't for this person, I'd probably be sleeping on the streets now, Izuku said with gratitude. I see. Then let us help you. Do this job and maybe we can work something out with the police, get them off your back, or at the very least get the arrest warrant off you. The Air Force would be another thing, but baby steps, said Aizawa. Wait, Air Force? Izuku thought about it. Very well, I'll help you. So when is the sports festival? Nizu smiled. Good. The festival is in a week. We would like you to provide aerial support. We recently had an incident, as you know, and we need to show that we can still protect our students. That's simple enough. All right then, I'll see you all in 1 week's time, Izuku said, getting up from the chair. Perfect. All Might and Eraserhead will escort you out, Izuku nodded. The two heroes began to walk Izuku out of the office. As they walked down the hall, Class 1A was making their way back to class when they noticed him. Oh hey, it's the green guy. A girl with pink skin said her name was Mina. You're right, it's the guy who saved us at the USJ, but what's he doing here? Asked a red-haired guy, Kirishima. Great. This was what I tried to avoid, Aizawa said, sighing. The class all crowded around Izuku. All right, everyone back off, let the poor guy breathe, Aizawa said, pushing his class away. As you know, this is Green Lantern, the one who saved us at the USJ. That's when a tall black-haired girl stepped up. My name is Momo Yaoyorozu. As Class 1A's president, I would like to thank you for saving us, she said, bowing. Please, I just did what was right, that's all. No need to thank me, Izuku said nervously. Spoken like a true hero, if only you join the hero program here at UA, All Might said with his signature smile. Well, it's nice meeting you. I'll see you all at the sports festival, Izuku said. You're going to be there? They all yelled out. Why yeah, I won't participate, but I will be there as a bodyguard, so to speak, Izuku said, rubbing the back of his head. That's when Bakugo saw it. That little gesture, it's just like Deku's, could it be? Wow, really a vigilante as a bodyguard, said Sue. Well, I hope you protect my body, cutie, Mina said, teasing the poor boy. Izuku blushed while Uraraka's eye twitched. I will do my best, he said, blushing. All right, everyone head to class. I'll be there in a second, Aizawa ordered his class. They did as they were told. As they went to class, Izuku was taken outside. So I'll see you all in 1 week time then. Don't be late, Aizawa said. I won't. Just as he was about to leave, his ring began to glow. Warning, ring bearer nearby, Izuku's eyes went wide. Was there a ring bearer here at UA? Izuku looked around but found nothing. Hey, what's wrong? Said All Might. Izuku flew into the air and hovered there for a second. Ring, find the ring bearer. Energy signature no longer detected. However, emotional residue identified. Rage. A red lantern, Izuku floated down and turned to the two heroes. Tell Nizu to invite more heroes. There is another ring wearer near the school. Another ring wearer? You mean another yellow lantern? Aizawa asked. Izuku shook his head. No, this one is a red lantern. My power is fueled by my willpower. The yellow lanterns are fueled by fear, and this red lantern is fueled by rage. Their anger makes them stronger, and in the right hands they can overpower me, Izuku said, looking down at his ring. Another? This isn't good, we should inform Nizu quick, said All Might. Fortunately, it looks like they are gone, but they could come back, so be on alert, said Izuku. If it came down to it, wouldn't it be better if you fight him? I mean, what could we do against them? Said Aizawa. Izuku thought about it. Don't worry, one of your students can contact me. For now, I'm needed somewhere else. The two heroes nodded, and with that Izuku took off into the sky towards a factory fire. He's a vigilante, but yet he's not a bad guy, Aizawa said. As they were about to leave, something brushed up against his leg. Looking down, he noticed a little blue cat. Hey there, little guy. He reached down and picked it up. It purred in his arms. Aren't you sweet? Do you have a name? Looking at its red collar, it read Dexstar. So your name is Dexstar? Well, you're in luck. You are going to be our official Class 1A mascot, Aizawa said, walking towards Nizu's office. Meow. Dexstar gave a small evil smile as he was getting taken into the school. A few hours later, Uraraka's apartment. Izuku was sitting down on the kitchen chair writing in his notebook. So are you actually going to be at the sports festival? Uraraka asked as she sat on the couch wearing track shorts and a black muscle shirt. Izuku tried to look away, but it was hard keeping up a conversation without blushing like an idiot. Yeah, they said it will help me ease tensions with the police. Plus, they are paying me. Really, they must be desperate to keep us safe after what happened, Uraraka said, drying off her hair. I guess so. Hey Uraraka, I want you to be careful these couple of days. Earlier I detected the presence of another ring, and this one is not friendly to say the least, Izuku said, looking at her in the eyes. Uraraka stopped drying her hair when she noticed his serious look. I see. Alright, I promise you I'll be careful. But I don't have to worry that much when I have the world's best bodyguard, she smiled. Izuku blushed. Hey, no teasing me. Oh, but it's fine for the other girls in my class to tease you. Uraraka said in a playful manner. And no, they just caught me off guard. That's all, he said, blushing even harder than before. Oh really, I saw the way you looked at Mina. I can't blame you, though she is pretty enough, Uraraka said, getting up and walking towards Izuku. Izuku turned to find Uraraka blending over. Her face was just a few inches away. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll be able to see us in our hero uniforms. Last time you didn't get a good look. She continued to talk, but Izuku was not all there. From his angel, Izuku could look down her shirt. WWW. Wait, is he not wearing a bra? His mind was racing. His face turned crimson as he stared down her shirt. Hey, she yelled, snapping him back to reality. Did you hear anything I said? She looked at him with her arms crossed. Izuku got up from the chair and stood up straight. Why yes, of course, he said, almost like a soldier. Why are you yelling? That's when she remembered what she was wearing. She quickly threw her arms over her breasts. Pervert, you were staring, weren't you? She said, blushing. Izuku shook his head. And no. He looked at Uraraka to find her pouting. Okay. And maybe I was sorry. Are you really sorry? She asked. Izuku quickly nodded. Well, all right then, you are forgiven. Uraraka turned to go to her room to change. You know you liked it, and with that Uraraka closed the door to her room. Izuku stood there, his face still red. I should go on patrol. He grabbed his ring and flew off into the night. It was now around 3 a.m. and he was tired. Man, I should go back. Uraraka is probably asleep. As he turned to leave, a red construct cat appeared, slashing at him with its claws across the chest. What the? Turning around, he saw 2 more cats flying at him. Thinking fast, he created a shield blocking the first cat, but the other 2 had time to react. They went around slashing at his sides. Damn it. All right, enough of this. Time to send these cats back to the pound. Waiting for them to get close, Izuku created a ball around him that had spikes. The construct cats were gonna fast to stop. They crashed into the spikes of his green construct and disappeared in a red smoke. Constructs made of red light. They are here. Ring scan for red lanterns. His ring glowed green as it scanned the area around him. No red lanterns detected. A sneak attack? No, they would have attacked by now. That must mean this was a test, to gauge my strength or to see my weaknesses. Whoever they are smart. Izuku then felt his side burn. Looking down, he noticed blood dripping from the slashes the cats gave him. Man, that hurt. Since they're not here, I should head back and patch myself up, Izuku said, flying back to Uraraka's apartment. Little did he know that a small blue cat was staring at him from afar. Meow, or to translate, soon. Ismalt, homeworld of the red lanterns. Flying over a vast red lake, a woman with bone wings, blue skin, and a red lantern symbol on her chest was looking for someone. There he is. She landed on a small island in the middle of the blood lake. Sir Dexstar has reported he made contact with the Green Lantern on Earth. Good. The alien stood tall, 6 feet 7 inches, his eyes yellow in color. His skin as red as the blood lake itself, and his teeth razor sharp. What did he say? Atrocitus said, turning around. There are 2 good candidates, said Bleeze. Only 2? Atrocitus asked, puzzled. He said these 2 just need a push to become Red Lanterns. Also, when they become Red Lanterns, they will become the strongest Red Lanterns we've ever seen, Bleeze said, smiling. Really? Very interesting. All right, I will head to Earth and help Dexstar give them a push. However, there is still the other matter. Tell Dexstar I will see him in 1 week time. Bleeze nodded and took off into the sky. Earth never ceases to amaze me. Unexpected appearance. The week went by fast, and today was the day. The sports festival was about to start. Uraraka had to leave early to get ready. Izuku wished her luck and said he would be there before the competition started. Charging his ring, Izuku flew towards UA, but he stopped by a flower shop and bought a single rose. He flew towards the orphanage and placed the rose where the door would have been. After paying his respects, he flew towards Yue. Izuku landed at the entrance gates. There he was met by Nizu and Aizawa. "Good to see you here, GL," Nizu said. "Well, I did say I'd be here, so here I am," Izuku said as the green glow disappeared around him. "Good, here, take this." Aizawa handed him an earpiece. "We will use this to get in touch. Make sure to always have it on you." Izuku nodded as he put the earpiece on. "All right, so where do I go?" "The stadium. You will provide aerial support. If you see anything you can tell us or you can deal with it yourself," Nizu explained. "Simple enough. I doubt anyone would be dumb enough to attack you guys again when I'm around," Izuku said as the glow around him reappeared. "Well, if that's all, I'll be above the stadium." Izuku took off towards the stadium. Looking down, he noticed it was packed full of spectators. "Wow, this a lot more people than I expected," he said, landing on the roof. "Welcome everyone to UA's annual sports festival." The crowd went wild, looking down. Izuku saw the pro hero Midnight step up to a podium in the middle of the field. "I know you are all excited to start, so let's get ready to rumble." Introducing the one, the only, Class 1A Hero course students. From the tunnel out walked Class 1A. Izuku instantly found Uraraka with her brown hair. But there were two other students that caught his eye. A white and red-haired boy, and someone he thought he wouldn't see again, Kakin. And now Class 1B, followed by everyone else. Midnight said as the rest of the classes walked out of the tunnel. "Wow, they really don't care about the other classes, do they?" Izuku said, feeling sorry for the other classes. "All right then, let's kick this off the sports festival with the obstacle race. The first 42 people to cross the finish line moves on to the next round. But be careful, this isn't your run-of-the-mill obstacle course." The students all lined up at the starting line. "Ready, go!" Izuku watched as the students all ran. Some used their quirks to jump ahead of the pack. This included Uraraka, who used her quirk on herself to float over the crowd. However, before he could enjoy the rest, he got a message over his comms. "Green Lantern, I know the sports festival is exciting to watch, but please try to remember you have a job to do." It was Nizu. "Sorry. You're right, I should take this more seriously." Izuku was relieved that he was so high up, so no one saw the embarrassed blush. Nizu chuckled. "It is quite all right. Going by your appearance, you looked no older than the students below you. So it is normal for you to enjoy the festival." "Why, yeah, I always heard this was an amazing place. And now that I'm seeing it for the first time, it's even better than I thought it would be," Izuku said, smiling. "That's good, and don't worry, you'll have your chance to enjoy it soon. Over and out." Izuku was surprised but thanked Nizu. "He's not a bad person." "Well, dog/mouse/bear looking thing?" said Izuku. Suddenly he heard a loud buzzer followed by the crowd roaring. Looking down, he noticed people were crossing the finish line. "Let's see, first place went to Shoto Todoroki. I wonder what place Uraraka can in." Going down the list, he saw her name. 15th place, not bad. Out of 42. "Well done, everyone. We now have our top 42 that will be moving on into the next round," said Midnight, cracking her whip. "Those of you who didn't make it, please make your way to the bleachers. All right, let's move on to the next event. Cavalry battle." The crowd erupted in cheer. Each student will be given points based on their performance on the obstacle race. The higher you place, the higher the points. Each team must have a minimum of 2 people and a max of 4. But here's the kicker. Our first place winner will be worth 1 million points. Every student immediately looked at Todoroki. He, on the other hand, didn't really care. "You have 10 minutes to make a team with whoever you like." Izuku watched as the students scrambled to form a team. And teams will be switched around a bit, obviously, without Izuku. "GL, do you hear me?" Nizu said over the comms. "Yeah, I hear you," Izuku responded. "There seems to be a disturbance outside the stadium, in the food stands. Do you mind checking it out?" "I'm sure it's nothing, just to be safe," Nizu asked. "Sure. I was getting tired of standing up here anyway." Izuku took off towards the stands. As he looked around for what he called for, he saw the pro heroes Mount Landy, Death Arms, and Kamui Woods chasing after someone. Why aren't they using their quirks? Then he saw the people around them. Pedestrians. Well, in that case, Izuku swapped down. "Come on, Woods. Can't you use your tree branches to get him?" Mount Lady said, running after the guy. Not with as many people, and there are no trees to swing around, so we have to stick to the ground for now, Kamui Woods said, running beside her. The villain was about to reach the exit gates when from the ground a green ball and chain appeared, wrapping around the villain's leg, tripping him up. "What the?" he said as he fell to the ground, dropping the purse he stole. Well, what do we have here?" Izuku said, landing left to the villain and picking up the purse. The villain looked up to find Izuku. "Why you? We're that vigilante. What are you doing here at UA?" he said, scared. "Oh, me? I'm actually working for the school right now," said Izuku. The villain's eyes went wide. What now, Wei? You're a full-fledged hero now." "No, he's still a vigilante. But it's true what he says, he is working for the school right now," Kamui Woods said, catching his breath. "Whoa, I heard Nizu said something about him, but I just thought he was kidding," Mount Lady said, looking at Izuku. "And he's not that bad looking too." Izuku blushed. "Well, if that's everything, I'm going back. Here, take the purse." He threw the purse at Death Arms and quickly jumped into the air and flew off. "Ah, too bad." "Maybe next time," Mount Lady said as her two colleagues stared at her with a disappointed look. "Nizu, the situation has been handled," Izuku said over the comms. "Ah, good work, Lantern. Head back to your post, the one-on-one fights are about to begin. I get the feeling you want to watch these," Nizu said. Izuku couldn't help but notice his tone of voice. He made his way back to the top of the stadium just in time to hear the rules. "Alright, this will be the final event. This event would be one-on-one fights. Students win by either knockout, submission, or ring out. No one will interfere with the fight. Not even the teachers, so give it your best shot," Midnight said, cracking her whip. "Now let's see who is fighting who." She pointed to a billboard that had the names of those who passed the cavalry battle. To Izuku's delight, Uraraka was on that list. However, his delight would quickly change to worry when he saw who he would be fighting. "Oh no, she's fighting Kaken." He shook his head. "No, she can do this, I know she can." Her fight was the last one for the first one, so Izuku waited and watched the others fight. The duo-colored hair kid was strong. The kid with glasses got played like an idiot. The two muscle heads was a decent fight, too bad it ended in an arm wrestling match. And the kid with indigo hair, he was interesting. Now it was time for Uraraka's fight. Izuku watched as the two fighters stepped up to ring. "Hey, round face, I got a question," Bakugo said. "What?" she replied. "You know who the Green Lantern is, don't you?" Bakugo said, stretching. Uraraka froze up. "So you do know? Tell me who he is?" "I may know who he is, but why does that matter?" Uraraka said, ready for the fight. Bakugo sighed. "Alright then, I'll just have to beat it out of you." "Ready, begin," Midnight yelled. Uraraka rushed right in, trying to catch Bakugo off guard, but he simply raised his hands and fired off an explosion, pushing her back. "I have to find the opening," she said, running back to him, her gym uniform slightly burned. She once again rushed at him. "Doing the same thing won't work, round face." He fired off an explosion, kicking up a smoke screen. Seeing her change, Uraraka went for it. Bakugo saw something move in the smoke and fired another blast. "Nice try." However, he hit nothing. "What?" Uraraka had thrown her gym jacket as a distraction. His helped her get around Bakugo. "All I have to do is touch him and I win." Now behind him, she reached out to try to activate her quirk, but Bakugo, while caught off guard, would quickly turn around with the help of his explosion and pushed her away. Uraraka rolled on the ground before coming to a stop a few inches away from the edge of the ring. "Just as I thought. You really are strong," she said, whipping a bit of blood from her face. "So, are you going to tell me who he is?" Bakugo said, thinking he already won. Uraraka scoffed. "No." Bakugo started to get frustrated as he saw her run at him again. "Not this again." He was about to fire an explosion but stopped when Uraraka smiled. "Make you look." Izuku smiled. "I see, so that's what she had planned." Just a few feet in front of him, tons of rock and debris floated, waiting to be dropped. Unfortunately, it would have worked on anyone else but Kaken. "Release," she yelled. Bakugo looked around but saw nothing. "What the heck did you do?" he asked. That's when it understood what was going on. "Sneaky trick, but it won't work on me," he said, pointing both hands towards the falling debris. In one massive explosion, he managed to destroy all the falling rocks and managed to push Uraraka away from him, letting out a sigh. Bakugo, but his hands down. That was close, I'll give you that. Uraraka laid on the floor. And not yet, I'm not finished yet, she said, pushing herself up. Then you can fall like the rest of them. Using his explosions to get in close, he pointed his hands right her and fired at point-blank rage. Uraraka yelled out in pain as she was pushed back, hitting the floor hard. Uraraka! Izuku yelled out from the top of the stadium. Bakugo then walked towards her. So are you going to tell me who he is? And never, she said in pain. Without warning, Bakugo fired off an explosion not at her but at the ground around her. This caused her to fly into the air and head out the ring, but Bakugo wasn't finished. With his explosions, he got next to her and shot her back towards the ground, preventing her from being knocked out of the ring. Tell me, he yelled. NNO? She grunted as she slowly began to get up. To the horror of the crowd, Bakugo formed a circle with one hand and put it over his open palm and fired off smaller explosions in rapid succession, each one hitting Uraraka throughout her body, burning her. All she could do was take the explosions. Yes, that's it, fall into your anger, a voice said inside of Bakugo's mind. Izuku watched as the person that helped him so much was being tortured. That's enough. If the teachers won't do anything, then I will, he said as his ring began to glow. But before he could fly in there and stop the fight, Nizu came over the comms. Stop, GL, you can't interfere. What? Why not? She's being tortured, he yelled back. That's when Uraraka yelled again. Looking down, he saw her fall to her knees. That's it, I'm ending this. Go down there and we will be forced to take action against you, Nizu threatened Izuku. I'd like to see you try, he said, grabbing the earpiece and smashing into his hands. Uraraka. Bakugo continued to fire. Come on, tell me. It almost seemed that he was enjoying this. That's when Izuku appeared. Bakugo tried to stop but couldn't. One last explosion made its way towards Izuku, hitting him in the face. What the? That's enough. You already won. A voice was heard through the smoke caused by the explosions. There appeared Izuku, his mask half torn off from the explosion he took from Bakugo. You! How dare you get in my way? Bakugo growled. I'll make you pay. Yes. Kill him. Kill the Green Lantern. Bakugo rocketed towards him, but Izuku raised his ring and created a large construct box around Bakugo, trapping him. Shut up. Izuku turned to the injured Uraraka. Hey, are you alright? He asked in a calming voice. Green Lantern? Her vision was blurred, but she could still see the emerald glow. He's too strong. I know, but you did your best. It was a great fight, he said, smiling. That smile was the last thing she saw before passing out. Izuku picked her up bridal style and began to walk towards the tunnel. It seems Uraraka is unable to fight. Bakugo won, Midnight said, surprised that Green Lantern had intervened like that. Bakugo continued to blast the green construct box but couldn't break out of it. He was stuck there until Izuku decided to let him out. As she was walking towards the tunnel, Izuku was stopped by Aizawa and All Might. Out of my way. She needs help, Izuku said, staring at the two heroes. All Might saw the look in his eyes. This could get ugly if we piss him off. I'm sure Aizawa is thinking the same way. The two heroes looked at each other and nodded. All right, come with me. I'll take you to Recovery Girl. She can heal her up in no time. All Might, go see if you can get Bakugo out of that box, Aizawa instructed. Don't bother, Izuku let the construct disappear, causing Bakugo to fall to the floor. Why, you bastard? Where are you? I'm going to kill you for this, Bakugo yelled out, looking for blood. Young Bakugo, that's enough, you won, All Might said, appearing in front of him. Not until the green guy begs for mercy, he said, looking around for the lantern. Bakugo, that's enough, All Might said, snapping at him. Unless you want to face punishment, I suggest you stop. Bakugo took the hint. Tisk, whatever, but this is far from over. He walked back to the bleachers without another incident. Little did they know, a small blue cat watched everything. Meow. Meow translation. Atrocitus will be pleased. It's only a matter of time before he arrives. Izuku, with Uraraka in his arms, walked down, heading towards the nurse's office. Aizawa was leading them. She really means a lot to you, doesn't she? I'm guessing she's the one who you owe a lot to, he said. The question caught Izuku off guard for a second. Why yes is, he said blushing. When I saw her getting tortured like that, I couldn't just stand there and do nothing. You almost sound like a hero kid, Aizawa said. Oh, you might want to fix that mask of yours. Don't want people to know who you are, he said, stopping in front of the nurse's office. Oh, I didn't even notice. Izuku focused and fixed his mask. Thanks for that, Eraserhead. Izuku walked into the nurse's office. Recovery Girl was an old short woman who walked with a cane. Her quirk was the power to heal anyone with just a kiss. After Recovery Girl had kissed Uraraka on the arm, her injuries instantly began to fade. There you are. She won't wake up for a bit, but she's out of any real danger now. Izuku let out a sigh of relief. Oh, thank goodness. Go on back, GL. You still have a job to do, don't you? Recovery Girl said. Izuku nodded. Yeah, all right, but please tell Nizu to tell me when she wakes up. You have my word, son. Izuku nodded and left the nurse's office. As he walked down the halls, he turned to find the number 2 hero, Endeavor. Izuku tried to walk past him, but Endeavor blocked his way. Wait a minute, Lantern. There's something I wish to discuss with you. What is it? Izuku responded coldly. You're no older than my son, yet I heard you defeated All Might. I would like you to fight my son, said Endeavor. Izuku raised an eyebrow at this. Fight your son? Why would I ever do that? Because my Shoto has an obligation to become the number 1 hero, Endeavor said as his flames burned brighter. Yes, he will become number 1, but he can't do that now if someone like you defeated All Might, let alone a vigilante. Izuku's eyes narrowed. That sounds like your dream, not his. What does he want to do? It doesn't matter what he wants. All he has to do is become the number 1 hero. That is why he was created for. Endeavor said, gloating. Izuku was about to say something but was cut off by someone yelling at, I'm not a tool you can use to push your ambitions on. Turning around, Izuku was met by a very angry Shoto Todoroki. Endeavor scoffed. Enough with your childish tantrums. You'll never become number without using your fire. I rather die than you your power. Just because you failed at becoming number 1 doesn't mean I have to. Todoroki shot back. Listen, brat, you will do as I tell you. Endeavor took a few steps forward but was stopped by GL. Out of my way, brat. Calm down or make you, Izuku said, almost challenging the number 2 hero. Is that right? Well, I'd like to see you try. Endeavor's flames grew in size. Izuku's ring began to glow green. Endeavor, that enough. Turning around, they found Nizu walking alongside him was Aizawa. I will not tolerate violence against a student in my school, not even if they are your son. Endeavor scoffed. He will learn soon enough that he needs to use my fire, and with that Endeavor walked away, leaving a very angry Todoroki. Thanks for that, Nizu, Izuku said, breathing a sigh of relief. I was this close to beating some sense into him. No problem. Now the next round is about to start. Why don't you make your way back? That includes you too, Todoroki, Nizu said with a smile on his face. Todoroki said nothing as he walked away, but he too heard a voice in his head. You are an angry child. Good. Let loose that anger and take your revenge against your father. Give in to your rage. What's his problem? Not even a thank you for sticking up for him. Izuku as he began to walk towards the exit. It was halfway through the semifinals and Izuku was up in his spot when he looked down to find Uraraka walking back to the bleachers, her arm in a sling and her face with some bandages. She looked up and smiled. Izuku smiled back, but he could tell even from far above that smile had some sadness hidden behind it. Looking at the bracket, Izuku noticed that both Bakugo and Todoroki had both won their fights and would go against each other in the final round. Oh, this should be good, he said as the 2 fighters entered the ring. Are both fighters ready? Asked Midnight, pointing at them both. They both nodded. Ready. Begin. The 2 ran towards each other. This would be a fight of endurance. Todoroki created ice spears and threw them at Bakugo. With the help of his explosion, he destroyed them all before they hit. Hey, half and half. Why don't you use that fire of yours? Bakugo yelled out. Todoroki's eyes went wide. How do you? Doesn't matter. I will never use that man's power, he yelled out. This made Bakugo angry. Come on. I want to fight you at your best, he yelled, using his blasts to close the distance. Use it. Raising his hands, he fired at point-blank range, hitting Todoroki. His body was thrown back due to the blast, and his gym uniform was burned. Thinking fast, he created a wall of ice behind him, stopping himself from falling off the ring. Why do you want me to use it? Do you have something to prove? I don't know, maybe showing that you're better than the lantern? Well, news flash, Bakugo, you're not. Stomping on the ground, Todoroki created giant ice pillars that appeared from the ground towards Bakugo. Jumping into the air, Bakugo tried to dodge in the air with the help of his quirk, but there were too many spikes and some slashed at his sides and face, drawing blood. With one giant explosion, he broke the remaining ice pillars and landed safely on the ground. You actually think he's better than me? No one is better than me. No one, Bakugo said with fury in his eyes. You will only be a sad shadow of your father. Todoroki clenched his fists. You know what? F***ck my father. F***ck this sports festival. And F***ck you. Todoroki yelled as his eyes burned his rage. Suddenly a voice was heard throughout the stadium. Yes, that's what I like to hear. That's when Izuku's ring began to glow brighter. Warning! Warning! Energy signature detected. Emotional color red. Rage? Izuku looked around trying to find them. Damn it! Nizu! Come in! He yelled through the comms. What is it, GL? Do you know where that voice came from? Nizu panicked. You need to evacuate the arena now. You need to. But before he could say anything else, a red portal opened up in between Bakugo and Todoroki. I see, so these are the two Dexstar was talking about. Good work. From the portal out walked Atrocitus with Dexstar following right behind him, both wearing their Red Lantern uniform. So what do you say? Shall we give them each a ring? He asked Dexstar, who jumped on his shoulder. Meow. Good. Let's get started, shall we? Atrocitus smiled as his hands began to glow red. Opening them up, two red rings appeared. The two rings floated away and stopped in front of Bakugo and Todoroki. The two boys looked at the rings and reached out to grab them. No! Stop them! Don't let them grab those rings! Izuku yelled out as he created a construct hand arm trying to stop the two. All Might heard his yell and quickly jumped from the upper balcony. Boys, don't do it! But their words fell to deaf ears. They both grabbed the rings. Katsuki Bakugo / Shoto Todoroki of Earth. You have great rage in your hearts. Welcome to the Red Lantern Corp. As soon as they did, a blinding red light began to surround them. The crowd were in awe at what they were seeing. Class 1 got up from their seats to get a better look. What the hell? What's going on? Asked Kirishima, shielding his eyes from the glow. Uraraka knew who they were. Red Lanterns. We need to get out of here, guys. But before they could move, a shock wave of red energy pushed them to the ground. The blast was so strong that it destroyed Izuku's construct and pushed him back. It even sent All Might flying back, hitting a concrete wall. It's too late. Todoroki snared as he felt his rage take over him. Instead of his normal ice, he created blood ice in his left side and crimson red fire on his right side. Todoroki smiled as napalm blood poured down his mouth. He looked towards the bleachers and locked eyes with his father. In the ring there stood Bakugo, his mouth spilling red napalm blood. His normal gym clothes replaced by a Red Lantern uniform that had the symbol in the middle of his chest, and a red mask covering his face just like Izuku's. He then looked at Izuku and then towards his class. He then found her, Uraraka. Bakugo smiled and with a mighty roar then launched himself at her. Uraraka had no time to react. The crimson red coming Bakugo was the only thing she saw, and by then it was too late. He was already right in front of her. Be Bakugo? He said nothing as he raised his fist and created a red construct battle mace. Bringing it down, Uraraka put her hand in front of her face and closed her eyes, but nothing happened. Opening her eyes slowly, she found Izuku had jumped in front of her with a green construct shield. Come on, everyone, get away from here, he ordered as he struggled to hold back the mace. The class didn't move. They were still in shock. That's when Izuku snapped, Hurry, get out of here. Now! This snapped them out of it and they quickly made a run for it. That's when Nizu activated the alarm. Everyone please evacuate the arena. Any heroes engage and subdue the enemy. Everyone then began to run and scream for the exits. Only the heroes remained to stay and fight. Shifting the shield to the left, Izuku managed to make the mace hit the ground beside him. Seeing his chance, Izuku used the shield to hit Bakugo, sending him back to the ring. All Might! He yelled out. All Might looked up. Go help Endeavor. I'll handle Kabakugo. Whatever you do, don't let them take off that ring. All Might looked towards the bleachers and found Endeavor fighting against a possessed Todoroki. Got it. Izuku then landed back on the area where he found Bakugo throwing napalm blood everywhere. Come on, Kakin. Get a hold of yourself, he said, putting up his hands, trying to make him see that he didn't want to fight. Bakugo stared at him, pointed. Time to die. Guess we are doing this the hard way, Izuku said as his ring began to glow. Rage. The crowds ran for the exits. Bakugo was fighting Izuku. The battle between will and rage was waging on in the skies above the ring. Come on, Kakin. Get a hold of yourself, Izuku said, grabbing Bakugo with a giant green construct hand. Bakugo thrashed around trying to break free from the construct. He growled and smeared as napalm blood spilled out of his mouth. M must kill. Kill Green Lantern. Bakugo's body began to emit a bright red light. Izuku supported his ring hand as he felt Bakugo pushing up against the hand. Gritting his teeth, Izuku tried to hold on, but ultimately with a powerful yell, Bakugo exploded out of the green construct hand. Izuku shielded himself from the red light as well as pieces of his construct. Man, just how strong is he? Bakugo pointed a finger at Izuku. His hand began to glow red as it fired a beam of red energy at Izuku. Removing his hand, Izuku barely had enough time to react to the blast. Unfortunately for him, the blast pierced his shoulder and went out clean. Gah! Izuku yelled out as he put pressure on the wound. Yes, that's good, Katsuki Bakugo. Now finish this, Artisitis said with a smile on his face. As blood dripped down Izuku's arm, he created a green sterile pad and put it on the wound. Alright, I'm done playing games, Kakin. Rocketing at Bakugo, he punched him hard in the stomach, causing him to hunch over. At that moment, Izuku grabbed Bakugo by the waist and began to fly up. Within mere seconds, they were already in the upper atmosphere. Bakugo finally recovered from the hit and double fist slammed Izuku on the back over and over against each strike, sending a wave of red energy flying. I didn't want to see you like this, old friend, but none of that matters anymore. I'm gonna stop you right here, right now. Pulling his arm back, Izuku hit Bakugo hard in the head, sending him flying higher. You always wanted to be a hero, and this is what you became. An agent of rage. Pull yourself together, Kakin, Izuku said, hitting Bakugo over and over. Blood began to flow out of Bakugo's nose. Bakugo growled and finally began to counterattack. He created a giant red construct bat and swung it at Izuku, cracking him across the face. Kill. Must kill. Blood spilled from Izuku's lip as he composed himself. Man, he's strong. As he looked up, his eyes widened as he saw what Bakugo was doing. With an evil smile on his face, Bakugo pointed both of his hands at Izuku and created the gauntlets, but instead of sweat, they were filled with napalm blood. The sky was bathed in the red color of blood as Bakugo fired his blasts at Izuku, engulfing him. Izuku tried to create a shield, but it would prove worthless as it shattered as soon as the explosion hit it. Gah! He yelled out at the napalm blood, burned his costume and seeped into his skin. As Izuku reeled in pain, his eyes began to glow red. What is this? This rage. It's burning inside of me. Atrocities and Dex Star then appeared next to Bakugo. It seems you have great rage in your heart, Green Lantern. So tell me, what do you hate? Izuku gritted his teeth, trying to fight against the rage inside of him. Meow! Yes, you're right. It seems he needs more help. Atrocitus pointed at Izuku and Dexstar jumped on Izuku and spewed napalm blood on Izuku. No, I don't want this rage. Izuku yelled out that his body was completely covered in blood. Don't fight it. Accept it. So tell me, what do you hate? Atrocitus said, creating a red ring. Tell me. Izuku looked up at Atrocitus. Myself. I hate myself the most in this world. They all died and it was all my fault. Atrocitus smiled. Good. Then join the Red Lantern Corps. The ring left his hand and began to float towards Izuku. The red ring was calling to him, rather commanding him to raise his hand. Izuku tried to fight it by closing his fist, but the ring forced his hand open. The ring then floated above his finger. No, I can't. Closing his eyes, Izuku focused on the memories of Maria and the twins. Then came the memories of that day, the day he failed them, The day he couldn't save them. The day let them die. Maria, I'm so sorry. The ring flew onto his finger further. Pictures of the dead twins haunted his mind. Then came the final moments where he held Maria in his arms as she died. Become a red lantern, Artesitus yelled out as the ring began to slip on. Izuku was engulfed in a red light as the ring fully slipped on his finger. Atrocitus smiled as he saw the ring begin to consume Izuku, but his happiness quickly turned to shock when a green light began to shine through the red. Impossible! The ring should have connected to his heart by now. Then he heard the oath of Green Lantern. In brightest day, in blackest night, the rays of green light began to pierce the red light. No evil shall escape my sight. Meow! Dexter tried to lunge at Izuku to stop him, but he was repelled by a green blast, knocking him back. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Atrocitus himself created a red construct hammer, but as he swung it down, the hammer shattered into pieces. Green Lantern's light. Izuku broke through the red light and emerged. His suit completely repaired and his ring glowing brighter than ever before. How? Your rage was supposed to consume you, Atrocitus said, yelling at Izuku. Opening his hand, Izuku revealed the red ring of rage. I may hate myself more than anything in this world, but that's one of the reasons why I keep going. The other being my friend Uraraka. She gave me a reason to keep going. To Atrocitus's surprise, Izuku crushed the ring. I will use my rage to fuel my will. First, I'll stop the two of from doing any more harm. Atrocitus and Dexter readied their rings. Come and try, boy. Faster, and they could react. Izuku created a giant hand and grabbed them, pulling them towards him. Just as they got close, Izuku let the construct disappear and then created a brass-knuckled hand. With a loud boom, the two red lanterns were thrown back. But before they could compose themselves, Izuku created a green brick wall behind them. As they hit the wall, Izuku came in and punched Atrocitus through the wall, shattering it. Turning around, he pointed his ring at Dexter and fired a blast, sending him fall back towards the earth. I guess we are doing this hand-to-hand. Rage versus will. Atrocitus's huge hand punched Izuku in the nose hard enough to cause blood to run. The two went back and forth, but Izuku forgot that there was another lantern there. Bakugo came rocketing towards Izuku. He tried to dodge, but he grabbed Izuku by the neck and began to drag him back to earth. Izuku punched his arm, trying to loosen his grip, but Bakugo was so filled with rage that he longer felt anything but rage. Bakugo, stop this! He yelled out as they entered Earth's atmosphere. They were going so fast that they began to burn, seeing that they were getting close to the ground. Izuku had to think fast. Sorry about this, Kakin. Izuku managed to knee Bakugo in the junk. It wasn't enough for Bakugo to let him go, but just enough so Izuku could use his momentum to turn Bakugo around. Now it was Bakugo's turn to fall to Earth. Class 1A was taken to the main campus. They stood outside talking to each other. Man, what happened to Todoroki and Bakugo? Mina asked, confused as to what just happened. And those two? Who were they? Momo asked, remembering Atrocitus and Dexter. Uraraka stood beside Sue with a worried look on her face. Achiko? What's wrong, you worried about those two? Sue asked, tapping her on the shoulder. Uraraka jumped. Oh. Yeah, I'm worried about them, but I'm also worried about Green Lantern. Yeah, I hope he can find a way to save both of them, Sue said. That's when Uraraka heard something. Can you hear that? She asked. Everyone went quiet. Shoji created extra ears to hear from different angles. Above? He yelled out. Everyone looked up to see a ball of fire falling towards them. Everyone move! Aizawa yelled out. They scattered, but they couldn't get far enough. The objects crashed to the ground, and with a loud boom it knocked everyone to the ground. Uraraka got to her feet, coughing as the dust settled. Everyone all right? Yeah, somehow, Mina said, helping others up. So what hell was that? As the dust cleared, everyone surrounded the crater that was left behind there. They found Green Lantern's hand over Bakugo's face as he laid there knocked out. Izuku got off of Bakugo to catch his breath. Green Lantern! He looked up to see all of Class 1A looking at him. What are you guys doing here? I thought I told you to evacuate. They all looked at each other. We did. We are at the main campus. Izuku flew up and out of the crater and looked around. Oh, so you did. That's when Aizawa stepped up. What did you do to Bakugo? Don't worry, he's just knocked out. He won't be waking up for a while, Izuku explained. Just then a beam of red energy shot into the sky and it came from the stadium. *T, they haven't dealt with them yet. Hey wait! Aizawa yelled out, but it was too late. Green Lantern flew towards the stadium. Everyone stay here and make sure Bakugo doesn't wake up, he instructed as he took off running after Izuku. Back at the stadium, All Might was on one knee bleeding from his forehead and coughing out blood. Damn it, we can't stop him. We only slow him down. He then heard a loud explosion. Looking up at the bleacher, he watched Endeavor get slammed onto the bleachers by a red construct dragon. Endeavor! All Might yelled out. Letting the construct disappear, Todoroki floated above his defeated father. For years you made my life a living hell. You even drove your own wife, my mother, to insanity. You don't deserve to call yourself a hero. Endeavor slowly began to get up. Why, you stupid boy? I'll give you one last chance to turn yourself in and take off that stupid ring, he said as blood dripped from his lip. Todoroki's face turned cold. Arrogant even now. Fine, if you don't repent, then maybe losing your career will make me feel better. He pointed his ring at Endeavor and picked him up by one arm. I think the price for your crimes will be an arm, said Todoroki as he created a sword. Todoroki, don't do this, All Might yelled, getting to his feet. Your mother wouldn't want this. Just as the sword was about to cut his arm, Todoroki stopped. Please, put the sword away. We can help you. For a second, it looked like All Might's words got through. Todoroki gave an evil smile. Nah, this will make me feel better. All Might watched as Todoroki raised the sword again and brought it down, slicing Endeavor's arm off. Gah! Endeavor yelled out as his now detached arm fell to the floor beside him and blood spilled from his now severed arm. Todoroki smiled as he let Endeavor fall. Quite, your yelling is so annoying. Endeavor looked up, glaring in pain at Todoroki. What? Does it hurt? Without saying a word, Todoroki kicked Endeavor in the face. It should. This is nothing compared to what you did to us. All Might couldn't believe it. One of his students had just cut the arm off of the number 2 hero. "Nu!" he yelled out as he pushed himself up and launched at Todoroki with such force that he broke the ground beneath him. Taken off guard, Todoroki couldn't put up a shield on time, and All Might landed a clean punch at his ribs, breaking a few on impact. The punch sent Todoroki flying towards the other side of the arena. Endeavor! Hold on for a bit longer, All Might said, placing a towel on the wound, trying to stop the bleeding. Endeavor winced in pain. Don't worry about me. Take Shoto down. You can't let him get back up. Don't worry, he won't get back up so easily after that hit, said All Might. I wouldn't sound so sure about that. Turning around, All Might saw Todoroki floating there clutching his ribs. That hurt, All Might. Now it's time for you to feel some pain. Todoroki created a red construct dragon head. The dragon head was about to bite into All Might when a green construct sword sliced its neck. Todoroki! Yelled out Izuku, and he flew at him at full speed. Not giving him a chance to create anything else, Izuku turned himself into a green bullet and hit Todoroki straight in the stomach, knocking him out. Green Lantern then landed in front of Endeavor and All Might. Damn, I didn't get here in time. GL, we need to get him to a hospital, All Might said. Izuku nodded and was about to create a stretcher when a blast of red energy hit him in the chest, sending him flying towards a wall. All Might and Endeavor turned to the sky to find Atrocitus flying towards them. I don't know what trick you just pulled, but now that you won't join, I'm just going to have to kill you instead. Izuku pulled himself out of the rubble. I'd like to see you try. He fired his own blast at Atrocitus, which he countered with his own blast of red energy. The two beams crashed into each other, neither giving up ground. With his last remaining strength, All Might carried Endeavor out of the stadium. They watched on top of the stadium as the whole area began to be covered in red and green light. The pressure coming off their attacks began to destroy the stadium itself. Atrocitus was then heard laughing. You are literally still green. You have much to learn, and one of those is your enemy will use anything to win. Izuku was confused at this. What do you mean? He said, pushing his ring to its limits. The beams of energy then caused a massive explosion, bringing down a part of the stadium. That's when Izuku heard someone scream. Looking to his left, his eyes widened. No! There he found Uraraka had been captured by Dexstar. and was now bleeding from her side from a scratch she received from the cat. "Stop fighting and you can save the girl," Atrocitus said. Izuku looked back at Atrocitus with fury in his eyes. "Don't you dare! Take off the ring and no harm will come to her," Atrocitus said, pointing at Izuku's ring. Izuku thought about it, but once he saw Uraraka holding her sides bleeding, he didn't have a choice. Fine. He raised his hand and removed his ring. His uniform disappeared, showing his casual clothes underneath. Then his mask. All Might and Endeavor saw this happen. "So that's how you look like," All Might said. Just then Aizawa appeared. "Hey guys, how are you holding up?" he asked, landing beside them. "My arm is gone," Endeavor said, cauterizing his wound. Aizawa ignored him, not that he didn't care, but he knew Endeavor would be all right. Then he turned his attention to the arena. "What, I thought the students evacuated? Wait, why is Uraraka there? That kid with green hair is Green Lantern. This is the first time anyone has seen his face," All Might said as smoke came out of his body. *T my limit. "Much better, now drop it," Atrocitus said, smiling. "I did what you said, now let her go," Izuku said, dropping the ring. "Of course. Deckstar?" He motions for the cat to let go of the girl. Deckstar then pushed the girl towards Izuku. He caught her as she stumbled forward. "Hey Uraraka." She looked up to see him without his green mask or uniform. "Why did you do that? Why did you take off your ring?" she asked in pain. He smiled. "Because it was the only way they would let you go." "Ah, isn't that sweet? Now the both of you can die together," Atrocitus said, firing off a blast that was meant to kill the both of them. Time slowed down for everyone around them. Without a second thought, Izuku hugged Uraraka, shielding her from the blast. "No! Izuku, don't do this," she said, looking up at him as a red light slowly began to appear. He smiled as a look of shock filled her face. "New!" she yelled just as the blast hit Izuku. Detroit smash! Suddenly there was a loud crack. Looking back, Izuku saw All Might had landed in front of them and punched the construct, shattering it into pieces. "What? Who dares stop me?" Atrocitus said, clenching his fist. "All Might?" All Might then coughed up blood. "Don't talk. Grab your ring and finish this. That was the last good punch I had in me," he said, falling to a knee. Steam appeared around his body. Izuku caught on quickly and jumped for his ring. Slipping it on, he created the biggest construct he's ever made, a giant mecha robot suit that was taller than the arena itself. Izuku sat in the cockpit. "I'll tell you this once." The head of the mecha fell over him. "Get the hell off of my planet." "You think this scares me? I am Atrocitus, leader of the Red Lantern Corps," he yelled out, flying at Izuku. Aizawa, All Might, Uraraka, and everyone who ran out of the stadium watched as the giant mecha arm swung, hitting Atrocitus back down. As he laid there on the broken ground, Izuku lifted his foot and brought it down, stomping on Atrocitus. Deckstar tried spewing napalm blood on the mecha, but it did nothing to it. Izuku turned and pointed at him. Suddenly, green missiles and bullets began to fire at Deckstar, hitting him multiple times. The cat tried to create a shield, but every time he did, the green would smash into it, shattering the red shield. All Might mustered up the strength to get Uraraka out of harm's way. Jumping on the roof, he put her down so Aizawa could wrap up her wounds. "So you knew his name all along, didn't you, Uraraka?" Aizawa asked as he applied the wraps. "Why, yeah, sorry. Don't worry about that now, but you can bet we are going to have a nice long chat after this is over," he said, finishing up. She nodded. With the help of the giant mecha, Izuku was able to beat both Red Lanterns to the ground. He then picked him up with his giant metal hand. "Ready to give up?" Atrocitus began to regain his bearings. "Don't think you've won, Lantern. We shall meet again." His ring began to glow as he created a portal underneath them. As they begin to sink into the portal, Atrocitus has one last thing to say. "Remember, 2 of your friends are Red Lanterns now, and without the blood lake their rage will burn through them and eventually kill them." Izuku's eyes went wide. "No, tell me where I can find this lake," he said, closing his hand to prevent them from escaping, but it was too late. Only his laugh was heard as the portal closed. Izuku jumped out of the mecha and landed on the ground. "Damn it, how the hell am I going to help them?" he said, cursing himself. Just then, the three heroes and Uraraka all landed in front of him. GL, you all right? Uraraka said he was worried about him. He smiled. I'm good as long as you are. So care to explain what was that all about? Aizawa said. Those were red lanterns. Ring bearers like me, but only their rings are fueled by rage, Izuku said, letting the giant mecha behind him disappear. I see, so these rings are all powered by emotions, All Might said, looking weak. Izuku nodded. Yeah, but the red lanterns have a weakness. The rings of red lanterns actually replaces the bearer's heart with its ring. Take away the ring, the user dies. Does that mean Bakugo and Todoroki are stuck like that forever? Aizawa asked. It's a very real possibility, yes. But that's not all. When they first become red lanterns, they lose all sense of who they are and become ruthless machines fueled by rage. That's why Bakugo attacked Uraraka and why Todoroki attacked Endeavor. They targeted the person they hated the most at that time. The only to stop them, according to Atrocious, is to dunk them into a bloodlac. I have no idea where it is, Izuku explained. Is there really nothing we can do? Uraraka asked. I'm afraid not to remove the rings means they die. Let them wake up, they will kill everything around them. For now, we should contain them. Keep them asleep until we find a solution, Izuku suggested. Aizawa nodded. As bad as it sounds, it may be our only option. I'll have Midnight continuously knock them out with her quirk. Izuku looked away. I'm sorry. I let this happen. That's when All Might reached and placed a hand on Izuku's shoulder. Don't fret, young one, there is always hope. Izuku smiled. Those are some very wise words, human. A voice said above them. Izuku looked up and readied his ring but stopped when he saw the color. Who are you? The alien smiled. Don't worry, I am a friend and all will be well. The group was then bathed in a blue light. Hope. Izuku stood at the ready, his ring glowing as the blue lantern touched down on the arena. Please do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm, he said, holding out his hands. His voice was calm, but everyone there was still on edge. I see after the red lanterns you are wary of other rings. Then let me prove it to you. The blue lantern waved his hand. As he did, Izuku's ring began to glow bright. Ring at 150%, 200%, 400% power. Izuku's eyes went wide. Wait, only one core has the power to do this. You're from the Blue Lantern Corps, whose rings are powered by hope. The name is Saint Walker, the tall alien with white/gray skin said, smiling. Izuku could help but notice the tail-like thing coming from the back of his head. I came to this planet called Earth when I sensed Atrocitus's rage and feared that he had created more red lanterns. Saint Walker then looked behind Izuku. It seems my assumptions were correct. If you'd allow me, I may be able to help them return to normal, said Saint Walker. All Might couldn't believe. Can you really do it? Can you really turn them back? Saint Walker nodded. When there is hope, there is always a chance. Then let's take them inside. The less people find out about this, the better, Aizawa said. Izuku nodded. I agree. Let's take them to the nurse's office, pointing his ring at Todoroki. Izuku created a bubble around Todoroki's body, lifting him up as he walked towards the locker room. Eraserhead, go grab Bakugo, he will need healing too. Endeavor, get to the hospital. You've lost too much blood. Endeavor grunted. I feel fine, kid, worry about yourself. But to his surprise, he began to fall over. All Might held him up so he wouldn't fall down. Come on, I'll go with you. All Might supported Endeavor with his shoulder. He then turned to Izuku. Go on ahead. I'll meet up with you guys later. And with that, the two heroes went to the hospital. Aizawa nodded. All right, Uraraka, come with me. I'll need your quirk to pick him up. Uraraka looked back at Izuku, who nodded. Go help him. I'll be right here, promise. She smiled and walked off with Aizawa by her side. All Might took note of their relationship but said nothing. Right now, saving these two was top priority. Unbeknownst to everyone, one of the cameras from the stadium was still working. The image was fuzzy on one side, but the other half was crystal clear. For now, Izuku walked into the nurse's office and put Todoroki on a bed. Saint Walker was close behind. So how are you going to do this? From what I heard, the ring takes over their hearts, Izuku said, turning to Saint Walker. With hope, the blue light of hope can do many things. For this to work, I must enter his mind and show him hope, Saint Walker said. clapping his hands together. I see. Something that shows him hope. Just then Uraraka and Aizawa walked in with Bakugo. Where do you want him? Aizawa asked. Saint Walker pointed to the bed next to Todoroki. There, please. Aizawa pushed Bakugo above the bed. Now, he said, signaling Uraraka to deactivate her quirk. Bakugo softly fell on the bed, still unconscious. Good. Now stand back. Everyone backed away as Saint Walker walked in between the two and touched their foreheads. Are we sure we can trust him? Aizawa asked. If he tries anything, I'll stop him, but I get a feeling he's actually here to help. Besides, he's a blue lantern. They are mostly passive but will fight if they need to, Izuku said as a blue light began to cover the two red lanterns. The blue light began to shine so brightly that everyone had to put up their hands to shield themselves. Inside, Bakugo's mind began to fill with the image of one person. Ever since he was child, only one person filled him with hope. Hope that he would be an amazing hero. Images of All Might filled his mind. With Todoroki was a different story. He was so filled with rage that the light of the blue lantern wasn't enough. His anger towards his father was absolute. Green Lantern, come here, said Saint Walker. Izuku walked over to him. What's going on? Bakugo looks like he's getting better, but Todoroki looks like he's in pain. The anger inside him is so rooted in him, it's as if it's the only thing keeping him together. I've never seen anything like this before, Saint Walker said, stunned that this was happening. Just then, the ring on Bakugo's hand began to crack and finally break. Izuku's eyes went wide, but Saint Walker reassured him. It's fine, the purification was a success, but he will have to rest for a bit. I assure you he will wake up in a bit. For now, we have to focus on this one. I am going to need the power of a Green Lantern for this. He nodded. Of course, just tell me what to do. Place your hand on him and focus your will. Once blue and green are together, then there is nothing we can't do, Saint Walker smiled. All right, let's do this. Izuku shut his eyes and focused. His ring glowed green and began to surround Todoroki in a green and blue-colored cocoon. Suddenly, Todoroki's body began to emit a blood-red color. He's fighting it, Izuku yelled as he gritted his teeth. Focus Lantern, use your will to help him, and never forget there is always hope, Saint Walker said, pushing his ring to the max. Izuku in turn did the same. Ring power decreasing 150%, 100%, 75%, 50%. The light around Todoroki, red light of rage, fought against hope and will. The whole room was soon covered in a blue, green, and red light. Uraraka and Aizawa watched as lights crashed into each other. Amazing, Aizawa said, as he felt the emotional spectrum hit him. Izuku's face was strained. It was taking everything he had just to focus on helping Todoroki. Just a bit more, Saint Walker said, and he could feel hope coming from him. Gah! Suddenly, everyone in the room was knocked back by a wave of blue and green energy. Getting up, Izuku looked at the bed. It seems it worked, he said, smiling. Of course, that's why it's always important to have hope, said Saint Walker, putting his hands together. On the bed lay an unconscious Todoroki, but without his red ring. Thank you, Saint Walker. I don't know what I would have done without you, Izuku said, extending out a hand. Saint Walker grabbed it and began to shake it. It was my pleasure, now I must leave. I know my time here was brief, but I must go after and find the red lanterns. Well, if you are ever in any kind of trouble, you know where to find me, Izuku said with a smile. Thank you, your path will be difficult, but please remember there is always hope. The friends around you can be a main source of hope. He looked to Uraraka when he said that. Make sure to trust them a bit more. I will, thank you, Saint Walker, and with that a blue glow surrounded his body. Opening the window, Saint Walker took off into the sky. As he was leaving Earth's atmosphere, he got a message. Saint Walker, are you there? Yes, Ganthit, I am here, Saint Walker responded. How is the situation on Earth? The red lanterns are gone. There were 2 Earthlings that turned, but I've dealt with them. With the help of the Green Lantern, I may add. This one really is special, Saint Walker said, flying into deep space. I see, that's 3 rings now that have made their way to Earth. If more appear, then it seems my vision will come true, Ganthit said with worry in his voice. Ganthit, the war will not happen, said Saint Walker, his voice serious. But what if it does, Walker? You didn't see what I saw. The universe itself was in shambles and at the top of everything. Standing above everything was Izuku Midoriya, with a black lantern ring. Saint Walker said nothing. If that does ever come to pass, we will deal with him. You can count on that. Back on Earth, the sports festival was immediately cancelled. For the first time since UA opened, there would be no first-year winner. When Bakugo found out about this, he was furious. He screamed out that he deserved to win, that he was the best, and if it wasn't for the Green Lantern, he would have won. Izuku walked beside Uraraka as they were led into Principal Nizu's office. "What's going on?" Izuku asked. "You are going to get your pay, remember?" Aizawa said, walking behind them. "All right, but why does it seem like I'm walking into an ambush?" Izuku looked at Aizawa, but he said nothing. "It's fine, Green Lantern, just pick your money and you can go home. Although I wonder why I'm going as well," Uraraka said, surprised that she was called in too. "You'll find out soon enough," Aizawa said. Soon they made it to Nizu's office. They found Nizu sitting behind his desk with All Might on his right and Police Detective Naomasa on his left. "A Green Lantern you made you." "Why, yeah. So is this about my paycheck?" Izuku asked. "Yes, but actually before we do that, there is someone here who would like to meet you." Nizu gestured towards Naomasa. "Hell, Green Lantern. My name is Detective Naomasa and I am here on behalf of the police department," Naomasa said, taking off his hat. "Oh, it's nice to meet you. Sorry if I'm not comfortable around you. Vigilante and all that, you know," Izuku said, bowing slightly. "Yes, we are quite aware of your antics, Green Lantern. Or should I say," Naomasa slid a photo across Nizu's desk. "Izuku Midoriya." Izuku's eyes went wide. I have no idea who you were talking about," he said, trying to play it off. "There's no point in lying, son. We got this image of you during your fight with Bakugo and Todoroki. Besides, my quirk allows me to see who's lying and who's not," Naomasa said, smiling. "Izuku Midoriya, age 14, father classified, mother unknown. Records show you bounced around from orphanage to orphanage. That is until you settled at the one outside the city. After the orphanage blew up, you have been living in the streets, no?" Naomasa asked. Izuku looked over to Uraraka. "And not exactly. I've been staying over at a friend's house, who we assume is Miss Uraraka here," Aizawa said, speaking up. "I knew you two had some sort of relationship. I just didn't know what kind until now. You are letting Green Lantern stay with you, aren't you?" he said, looking over at Uraraka. She panicked and looked at Izuku for help. "There's no point in lying now, Uraraka. Might as well tell them," he said, sighing. Uraraka nodded. "Fine. Yes, it's true, I have been letting GL stay with me for a while now." "I see. Do your father know about this?" Nizu asked. "And no, I made the decision to help him," said Uraraka. Nizu crossed his paws. "I see, while it is none of our business what you do outside of school ground, we do have some say when it comes to harboring a vigilante." Izuku narrowed his eyes. "That sounds almost like a threat, sir." "Her actions are considered a crime, GL. That's something we can't ignore," Naomasa said. The ring around Izuku's finger began to glow. "She helped me when I lost the people I considered my family. She gave me a place to stay, a place to eat, and most important, she gave me someone I can call a friend. If that's the case, you could have gone to a local hero agency for help," All Might said. "You don't think I tried that, but no hero wanted to deal with a quirkless nobody, much less an orphan. Uraraka saved my life, which is more than I can say about you heroes. When I needed you the most, you shut me out, tossed me aside like I was nothing but trash. So I'll say this once, mess with her and you will have to deal with me too," Izuku said. All Might and Aizawa were about to say something when Nizu motioned them to stop. "I see, so Miss Uraraka means a lot to you?" Izuku nodded. "More than you know, that's why I will protect her from anything or anyone. That includes all of UA and the police force if I have to." "Your conviction is strong, young man. You almost sound like a hero." Nizu hopped out of his chair and made his way towards Izuku. "That's why the detective and I had a chat with the police commissioner, and he's agreed to waive the charges against you." "You're lying. There's no way it would be that easy. So what's the catch?" Izuku said, staring down the little mouse-slash-bear-looking animal. Nizu smiled. "Smart one, aren't you?" The catch is that you stop your vigilante work and come work for us here at UA. You want me to work here at UA? As what exactly? Izuku said, puzzled as to why they would propose this. If you choose to accept, you will be working alongside the hero classes and helping them improve their quirks. You will also act as a bodyguard when they go out on trips and such, said Nizu. Izuku thought about it. It doesn't sound like a bad deal. However, I will not be giving up my vigilante work. As long as there are people I can help, I will help them. Nizu turned to Naomasa. Well, you heard him? What do you say? How about this? You limit your vigilante work to nights only, Naomasa said, giving a compromise. Izuku turned to Uraraka, who nodded. All right, you got yourself a deal. But my identity remains a secret. If my name gets out, the deal is off. We can do that, Nizu said, but Izuku wasn't finished. Also, the charges of harboring a vigilante on Uraraka, they have to disappear like forever and no secret punishment, Izuku said, motioning towards Uraraka. Seems fair enough, you did just save 2 of our best students. All right, there will be no punishment. You have my word, Nizu said, holding out a hand. Izuku reached out and began to shake it. Sounds like we have a deal. After a few seconds, Izuku pulled his hand back. So where do we go from here? Now we decide what days you come here and work for us. But first, this Nizu went back to his desk and pulled out an envelope. Here, your payment, he said, holding it out to Izuku. Izuku grabbed the envelope. Thank you. Whoa, it's heavier than I thought it was going to be. Nizu smiled. It should be. We gave you a bit extra for saving our students. The total now is 400,000 yen, or about $3,800. Izuku's eyes went wide. This is too much. I can't accept this. Shaking his head, Nizu stopped Izuku. After hearing about your past, I say you earned this. Please accept it. Izuku looked down at the envelope. Well, most of it I was going to give to Uraraka for letting me stay with her, so. Alright, I accept. Good, now I do believe it's time for the 2 of you to go home. We will see the both of you on Monday then, said Nizu. Come on, Uraraka, let's go home. She nodded and began to walk out of the office. Once the door closed, Aizawa turned to Nizu. Really? Employing him? Yes, it was the only way we could keep him under watch, at least for the day, Nizu said, looking outside his window. Those rings are something a child can't have, and they will be ours. Izuku created a green bubble around Uraraka and began to fly home. Little did they know that Class 1A was barely leaving the school when they saw the 2 fly over them. Is that Uraraka? Kirishima asked, looking into the sky. Mina squinted. Yeah, and she's being carried by the lantern. Oh, do you think they're dating? She said with excitement. Maybe, ribbit. Achiko has been a bit secretive lately. Well, ask her at school, Tsu said as she watched them disappear. Back at Uraraka's apartment, Izuku landed on the balcony and slowly out down Uraraka. Final stop. Please exit the bubble in an orderly fashion, and as always thank you for flying Green Lantern, Izuku said, as if he were a flight attendant. Uraraka chuckled. Smooth ride as ever. Come on, let's go inside and relax, we need it after today. Izuku nodded as they slid open the glass door. Uraraka threw herself on the sofa. Izuku was about to do the same, but he wanted to lose the ring first. Sliding it off, his green uniform disappeared. As soon as he did, he immediately fell to one knee. Damn, so this is my limit, huh, he said, grabbing his sides. Uraraka shot up from the sofa. Izuku, what's wrong? She said, checking on him. Fight with red lanterns, he said, pointing to his sides. Lifting up his shirt, Uraraka noticed his sides were all sliced up to what appeared to be claw marks. God, these are deep, she said, watching as the blood dripped. Uraraka threw an arm around him to help him up. Using her body to hold him up, she put him on the sofa. Hold on. I'll go get the medical supplies. Going into the bathroom, she got the supplies. I'm burning through more bandage wrap than anything else in this place, she said, disinfecting his wounds. Izuku winced in pain as the alcohol touched his wounds. Sorry about this, he said, gritting his teeth. Don't be. Just be more careful next time, all right? Izuku nodded. Good, now sit up for me. I need to wrap this around you, she said, holding up the bandage wrap. After applying the wrap, Uraraka got up. They're good as new. Now stay put at least until morning. She turned to leave, but Izuku grabbed her hand. Wait. Yeah? Oh, does it still hurt? Let me get the pain relief, but Izuku shook his head. It's not that. Izuku pulled out the envelope Nizu had given him. Here. Uraraka looked at the envelope and to Izuku. That's your money, Izuku. I won't take it. Please, it's the least I can do, he said, pleading for her to take it. Izuku, you earned that money. Use it on yourself. I'm willing to bet you've never had that much in your life. Izuku looked away. Thought so. Now keep the money, it's yours, Uraraka said, but Izuku wasn't about to give up. You're right, it's my money and I can choose to do with it as I please. And I want to give it to you, as my way of saying thanks for letting me stay here, Izuku said with a smile. Uraraka didn't want to take his money, but she knew he wouldn't drop this. That is until she got an idea. All right, fine, she said, grabbing the envelope. Good. Izuku was about to lay down when he felt the envelope hit his chest. Looking up, he saw Uraraka had taken some money, but not all of it. You're paying for dinner tonight. You said I had to take the money, you never said how much, she said, holding a 10,000 yen bill. Izuku sighed, he lost. All right. Still don't know what I'm going to do with this much. Well, go shopping tomorrow for some clothes. You need some new ones anyway, she said, turning around. Shopping, huh? All right, it's a date, he said, laying down. When Uraraka heard date, her cheeks turned red. D-date. I don't mind B, but still. Oh God, what am I thinking? He's my friend who is living with me. And is a guy. Looking back at Izuku, she noticed the bandage around his abs. Wow, I never really noticed, but he's really well built. Those abs? Uraraka then felt something warm run down her nose. Whipping it away, she noticed it was blood. Uraraka's eyes went wide as she ran to the bathroom. You're so stupid, Uraraka. Getting a nosebleed just by looking at him. She could punch herself. After calming down, she leaned against the sink and looked into the mirror. TD's feeling in my chest? I think I like Izuku. Her cheeks turned pink. I want to tell him, but I have to first focus on school. I promised Dad I would. After taking a quick nap, Izuku woke up to the smell of pork cutlets. As they ate, Uraraka wanted to know how he fought off 3 red lanterns. Pure will. There was a point where they almost put a red ring on me. I was this close to succumbing to my rage, Uraraka, Izuku said, putting down his bowl. Uraraka reached over and grabbed his hand. It's all right, Izuku. We all get angry once in a while. So how did you overcome it? I thought about Maria, the twins, and most importantly, I thought about why. Izuku stopped mid-word, as his brain finally caught up to his mouth. Izuku exploded red. Gee, good thing I caught myself. Uraraka tilted her head out of curiosity. Why is he blushing? What or who could he be thinking of? Izuku composed himself. Anyway, I just thought of the people I hold dear, and by sheer will, I managed to overcome the rage. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that both Todoroki and Kakin are safe. Uraraka nodded. Yeah, I was worried for a second there. Anyway, let's finish out food. It's getting cold. You better be ready for tomorrow. You'll be getting a new wardrobe. You make it seem like I dress terribly, Izuku said, looking down at his shirt that had the words shirt written on it. You kinda do, Uraraka said sarcastically. Hey, that's not nice, Izuku said, pouting. Uraraka laughed. I'm kidding. Well, it can't hurt to get a new look. The mall is not that far from here, we'll go there. Izuku nodded. I can't wait. Izuku and Uraraka would fall asleep smiling, thinking about what tomorrow and their date. Meanwhile, in another city, a shadowy figure jumped from roof to roof. Stopping on the edge of the building, he looked down and watched the civilians walk by. Idiots, all of them, they live fake lives. All the while as fake heroes roam the street, but I will get rid of the fakes. Standing up, the person wore a black combat suit, with metal plating around his body, and a blood-red scar around his neck. Just as he was about to leave, a yellow light shined behind him. Turning around, the mystery person upholstered his sword and swung. Hey, is this how you treat strangers? Asked Shigaraki. Donning his yellow lantern suit, he created a yellow pole to block the sword. Who are you and what do you want? The mystery man said, pulling away his sword. All I want is to talk, Stain. I have a proposition for you, Shigaraki said, smiling. I don't work with others. Stain said, turning to walk away. What if I say, I can give you the power to get rid of all fake heroes, said Shigaraki, hearing that Stain stopped dead in his tracks. I'm listening. Storm. Izuku went out patrolling during the night, and by the time he got back it was around 5 a.m. They both agreed that they would go to the mall around noon. Izuku got a few hours of sleep before he got up around 11. He quickly took a shower. Man, that hit the spot, he said, getting out of the shower. Uraraka was sitting at the table going over some school material. Oh, Izuku, did you get enough sleep? She asked. Izuku nodded. Yup, I feel great. I'm ready to go wherever you are. She smiled. Awesome. Let me just finish up this work and we'll head out. Izuku went over and sat down in the chair next to Uraraka. What are you working on? He asked, leaning over her to look. Just some math homework. I'm not the best at this, so I struggle a bit, Uraraka said, embarrassed. Looking at the equation, Izuku began to think. Do you mind if I borrow your pen really quick? He asked. Huh? Oh sure, here. Uraraka handed him the pen. Izuku then proceeded to write on the paper. There you go, this way is much easier to understand, Izuku said, handing the pen back to Uraraka. Thanks. Looking down at the paper, Uraraka went over what Izuku wrote and she instantly understood it. Wow, this way really is much easier to understand. Thanks, Izuku. Where did you learn to do this? The library. Every day they had snacks for those who stayed after 5. Since there was very little to eat at the orphanage, I spent most of my time at the library for the free snacks, said Izuku. Hearing his answer, Uraraka regretted asking, I am sorry, I shouldn't have brought back bad memories. It wasn't all bad. I brought food to the twins and the kids. Seeing their happy faces made me happy, Izuku said with a smile. If you need any more help, just let me know. I will. Thanks. Uraraka went back to work, and about an hour later she was finally done. Izuku was sleeping on the sofa. She walked over and bent down to look at his face. Looks like he was still tired. To think he saved everyone at the sports festival. She giggled. He looks cute when he's sleeping. She reached out to touch his hair. Just as her hand was about to ruffle his hair, Izuku began to wake up. Uraraka blushed as she stood up in shock. Huh? Uraraka? Your face is a bit red. You alright? Izuku asked, waking up from his little nap. Why, yeah, I'm fine. Ready to head out, Uraraka asked, changing the subject. Izuku got up and stretched. Yeah, let's go. Uraraka grabbed her purse, while Izuku grabbed his green lantern ring and put it in his pocket just in case. The mall was only a 10-minute train ride from Uraraka's apartment. Arriving at the mall, Uraraka grabbed Izuku by the arm and dragged him into the nearest clothes store. Come on, Izuku. It's time to get a makeover. Izuku wasn't so sure about this, but he let Uraraka pick out clothes that she thought might look good on him. The first up was a green button-up shirt, and she also tossed him a pair of black pants. Izuku went into the changing room. After changing, Izuku came out, and Uraraka's reaction said it all. Whoa! You look amazing, Izuku. Who knew? Green really does suit you. Izuku blushed. You really think so? It's a bit tight around my arms. I might need a bigger size. His arm muscles were pressing up against the shirt, restricting his arm movement. You might be right. Now that you're eating properly, you've gained a lot of muscle. Alright, I'll get you a bigger size. For now, try this 1-inch, Uraraka said, passing him another outfit. This one was a light purple colored dress shirt and a pair of black dress pants. A little formal, don't you think? Izuku said, looking at the outfit. You never know when you'll need one. Now go get changed, I'll go pick out the next one. Uraraka turned around to look for more clothes as Izuku changed. As Uraraka was looking on the rack of clothes, someone called out to her, Hey Achiko! Turning around to see the girls from Class 1 walking towards her. Oh hey girls, what are you doing here? Uraraka asked, walking over to them. We thought we have a bit of a girls' mall trip. We called you before we got here, but you never picked up, said Mina. You did. Uraraka pulled out her phone, and just as Mina said, she had missed calls and texts from the girls. I had my phone on silent, my bad. No worries. It's a stroke of good luck that we ran into you. Would you like to join us? We were just about to go to the arcade, said Momo, pointing across the mall. Sorry, but I'm kinda here with someone, Uraraka said bashfully. Could it be your boyfriend? Ribbit asked Sue, teasing her. Uraraka blushed. And no. So why do you have men's clothing? Asked Jiro, pointing with her earphone jacks. Unless you're getting more tomboyish with us, which you're not. It has to be a guy, the invisible girl, Toru said. Come on, spill. Who is it? Someone from school, Mina said, getting close to Uraraka's face. Before she could answer, Izuku appeared from the changing room. You know what, Uraraka, at first I didn't like it, but now that I see myself in it, I think it looks really good. What do you think? He said, looking down at himself and then back up. That's when he noticed Uraraka surrounded by the girls. Friends of yours? The girls all stared at Izuku. They eyed him up and down. Whoa, where have you been hiding him? Mina said, looking at Izuku in the light purple dress shirt. So you do have a boyfriend, Toru said, poking Uraraka. He's not my boyfriend, Uraraka said, pushing Mina and Toru away. Let me introduce him, this is Izuku Midoriya. He's a friend of mine. Izuku. These are my classmates from UA. So you are the famous 1A girls. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Uraraka has talked a lot about you, Izuku said, bowing slightly. Oh, has she? That's funny because she has never said anything about you. I wonder why. The name is Jiro, by the way, said Jiro, introducing herself. A secret lover. How scandalous. My name is Mina, said Mina, teasing Uraraka. So why didn't you tell us, Achiko? Keeping secrets from your friends is a bad idea. Anyway, my name is Toru. It's nice to meet you, Midoriya, Toru said. Izuku couldn't see her due to her invisibility quirk, but Izuku could see her sleeves moving. Come on, girls, it's not nice to tease them. I do apologize for their behavior, but this is the first time we see Achiko this worked up. My name is Momo, Class 1A's president, said Momo, dignified as ever. Well, this trip just became worth it. My name is Tsu, but call me Tsu Ribbit, she croaked out with a smile. Izuku smiled. So you girls were talking about an arcade? Uraraka said, hoping the subject would focus away from her. Yeah, there's a new dancing game, so we wanted to see if you wanted to join us, Mina said. But since you're on a date with your boyfriend, I guess it's a no. Uraraka blushed. I told you he's not my boyfriend. This isn't a date. We came here to pick out some new clothes for Izuku. Calling him by his first name already. Wow, you sure move fast, Achiko, Jiro said with a smug smile. If it's not a date, then why don't we bring him along? It will keep those pervy guys off our backs, Toru suggested. That would be a good idea, so what do you say, Midoriya? Care to accompany us to the arcade? Asked Momo. Well, Izuku looked over at Uraraka, who gave him a smile of approval. I'd be happy to. Let me just pay for this and we'll head out. Izuku quickly went back into the changing room and put back his plain clothes. After paying, they all went over to the arcade, and just as Toru said, some guys tried to hit on them, but Izuku was there to make them back off. They broke off into little groups. Izuku stuck with Uraraka and her friend Tsu. They played an ice hockey game, basketball ball game, Street Fighter, target practice game, and many others. For the first time in a while, Izuku was happy, playing with his new friends, something he hasn't done since kindergarten. After a while, Izuku, Uraraka, and Tsu went to sit down. Man, there sure are a lot of games here, Uraraka said, sitting back on the chair. There sure are, but it seems Mina is only interested in the dancing game, Tsu said, pointing over to the game. Mina was there dancing to the rhythm and stepping on the arrows that came up. She's already beaten every one of us, and now she's challenging random people. Just then Jiro came back tired. She had just come back from the dancing game. Man, she has unlimited stamina. Plus she is ridiculously good at it too. I'll pay for lunch if any of you can beat her. Uraraka, give it a shot. Uraraka shook her head. Yeah. No, Mina is too good, besides I'm not a dancer. Tsu. Maybe next time. I don't want to get humiliated again, Tsu said, taking a sip of her drink. Really, can no one take her down? Jiro said as another person failed to beat Mina. Just then Izuku stood up. I'll give it a try. Izuku, you know how to dance? Uraraka asked. Nope, not really. Maria wanted to teach me, but we never got around to it, Izuku said, stretching his legs. Don't worry though, I'm a fast learner, Izuku said as he began to walk towards the dancing game. Come on, is that everyone that dares challenge me? Mina said, standing proud. That's when she saw Izuku walking over to her. Oh, looks Achiko's boyfriend wants to lose. Izuku smiled. We'll just see about that. Mina was surprised. Was that confidence or pride talking? Alright, let's see if you can keep up. Dance Dance Revolution. Are you ready? Select music. Mina selected the music. Ready? Go! Mina took off, stepping to the arrows as they came on the screen. Izuku at first struggled to get the hang of it. Looking over at Mina, he saw her give an evil smile. Izuku refocused back to the screen and began to gain a rhythm. Soon he was matching Mina step for step. The crowd cheered as they saw Izuku catching up to her. Uraraka and the girl all looked on in amazement. Whoa, Achiko, your boyfriend has some bite to him, Jiro said, watching Izuku twist and spin his body to match the arrows. First of all, he's not my boyfriend, and second of all, yes, he does. I never knew he could adapt to a situation that quickly, Uraraka said, smiling. Now the score was tied, and it was the last minute of the song. Mina knew the super hard part was coming up. Izuku's eyes widened as he saw so many arrows appear on the screen. This is it! Izuku stepped on the first arrow. Twisting his body, he spun and hit the back arrow. With little time to react, he had to hit both side arrows at the same time. Leaning back, he stepped on both but began to lose his balance. 20 seconds left. Izuku struggled to hit most of the arrows, but Mina wasn't doing any better. She too was struggling. She even had her hand on the railing behind her. Oh, it's going to be close, Toru said, watching the score going up. Come on, Izuku! Uraraka cheering on Izuku. With one final step, the song was over and both dancers hit the floor tired and sweating. Man, you actually kept pace. I even picked the hardest song too, Mina said, trying to catch her breath. Thanks. Just then, the dance area below Izuku began to flash and beep. Looking at the screen, it said winner on Izuku's side. The crowd erupted in cheer as Izuku had beat Mina by 2 points. Mina smiled as she saw the score. Well, I'll be damned, you actually beat me. She stood up and extended out her hand towards Izuku. Izuku grabbed it and stood up. That was a heck of a dance-off, Mina. We should do it again sometime. You bet. Come on, let's go with the others and relax for a bit. The two walked off the game and towards the others. That was amazing, Izuku. Are you sure you've never danced before? Uraraka asked, handing him a drink. Wait, what? You've never danced before? Mina couldn't believe it. She lost to someone who has never danced before. Nope, never, Izuku said. Okay, now I'm really impressed. You have some kind of stamina quirk, don't you? Jiro said. Izuku froze up and Uraraka looked at him with worry. Well, actually, I. Just then Uraraka came over and put a hand on his shoulder. It's okay, Izuku. You don't have to tell them if you don't want to, she said, trying to reassure him. Momo could see the discomfort on Izuku's face. It's all right if you don't want to tell us. We were just curious. Izuku shook his head. No, it's fine. All right? I'm actually quirkless. The girls' eyes went wide. They said nothing for a few seconds. Then from out of nowhere they all rushed Izuku. Wow! You did all that without a quirk. That's even more amazing, Mina said, smiling. You must be super talented then. What else can you do? Toru asked, impressed. Izuku's face turned red. Suddenly Uraraka grabbed him by the arm and pulled him away. All right, let the poor guy breath, she said, pulling him close. I never knew you were the jealous type, Achiko. Making sure we don't steal your boyfriend. Ribbit, Sue said, teasing her. Uraraka blushed as she let go of his arm. He's not my boyfriend. How many times do I have to tell you? Well, if that's the case. Mina walked over and locked arms with Izuku. How about we go out? She said seductively. From his angle, Izuku could look down Mina's shirt. I don't know. We only just met, he said, blushing. Mina then leaned in and whispered into his ear. That's fine. Why don't we go somewhere more private and get to know each other? Uraraka's eyes went wide as she caught the tail end of that conversation. No, he's mine, she yelled, catching the attention of both Izuku and Mina. Her face exploded red. I mean, you shouldn't tease him like that. Mina couldn't contain her laugh any longer. I'm sorry, I just wanted to see your reaction. Don't worry, I won't steal him away, at least not yet. If you don't hurry, Achiko, I might just steal him. she said, winking at Izuku. Mina. Yeah, I know. Come on, I'm hungry, let's go for lunch, Mina said, walking away. Uraraka sighed. Sorry about Mina, she can be a bit annoying sometimes. Izuku smiled. It's fine, I knew she was playing for the most part at least. Come on, if I remember right, Jiro said she was going to pay for lunch. Oh yeah, I did say that. Oh well, come on, I know just the spot. Jiro treated everyone to some sushi. After they ate their fill, they decided to help Izuku with more of his clothes shopping. After trying what felt like hundreds of clothes, he walked out of the stores with multiple bags of clothes. It was now late in the afternoon and it was time for everyone to start heading home. Man, today was fun, Toru said, stretching her arms. You can say that again, but we should probably start heading home, Jiro said. Aw, do we have to? I want to hang out with you guys some more, Mina said, disappointed. Don't worry, girls, we can hang out some other day. You should get home before your parents start to get worried, Izuku said with a smile. Yeah, I guess you're right. Alright, bye Izuku, it was nice to meet you. I do hope we meet each other again, Momo said, waving goodbye. Izuku nodded. I get the feeling we'll see each other real soon. The rest of the girls left, leaving only Izuku and Uraraka. Well, shall we head home? Izuku asked. Uraraka nodded. Let's go home. As they got off the train, they began to walk home. Unbeknownst to them, someone was following them home. Behind a street light, the shadowy figure of a woman was seen, her green eyes piercing the darkness. After all this time, I finally found you, my son. A single tear fell from her eye as she saw the two walking down the street. As he was talking, Izuku suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. Turning around, he looked around but found no one. Izuku, what's wrong? Uraraka asked. I felt someone staring at me, Izuku said. Is it a villain? Uraraka asked on guard. Izuku shook his head. No, I don't think so. This might sound weird, but the stare felt warm. It was probably nothing. Come, let's keep walking. League of Villains. Stain and Shigaraki were training in a warehouse. With the help of yellow constructs, Stain slashed and stabbed through them. Very good, you've improved, Shigaraki said as his ring's glow began to fade away. Stan sheathed his weapon. Those yellow party tricks really helped me out. As I am now, I think I can even take on All Might. Suddenly Stain felt something press against his neck. Opening his eyes, he was met by yellow construct scythe. All Might is mine to kill, remember that. Stain glared at Shigaraki. Relax, I was only joking. Besides, for me, All Might is a true hero. The yellow construct disappeared. Whatever. Now I think it's time for you to receive your true power. Shigaraki held out his hand. His whole hand began to glow yellow. Opening up his hand, a yellow ring was seen floating. Here, take it and become a harbinger of fear. Reaching out, Stain grabbed the ring and began to slide it on his finger. As he did, this costume began to change to yellow. Whoa, what is this? So much power. This is amazing, Stain said as he felt the power coursing through him. However, his celebration quickly changed to shock when Ring began to spark. Host incompatible for Ring, commencing self-destruction. The ring began to glow brighter and brighter. Stain eyes widened. Taking off the ring, he threw it aside. As it rolled to a stop, it blew up in a yellow fireball. As the dust and debris settled, Stain turned to Shigaraki. What the hell was that? That's the first time I've seen a ring just blow up like that. You strike fear into the hearts of everyone. You should be the perfect candidate for the yellow ring, Shigaraki said, puzzled as to why the ring rejected Stain. So that's it, Stain said, standing up. What is? Did you figure out why it rejected you? Asked Shigaraki. Yeah, I need more people to fear me. The rings runs on fear. Then the more people fear me. That means I just have to kill more heroes, right? Stain said with a smile. You really don't have any compassion, do you? Well, whatever, do as you please. Master needed to speak to me anyway, said Shigaraki. Stain grabbed his equipment. If you need me, I'll be on Hosu this whole week. There are some pests I need to get rid of in that city. Get that portal guy to make me a portal to Hosu. Kurogiri, if you would, appearing behind Stain was a black portal. If we need you, will call you. He nodded and went through the portal. Shigaraki, Master wishes to talk to you now. Going into the bar, Shigaraki found a TV with the words AFO on the screen. Shigaraki, my boy, how did it go with Stain? It went well, but the ring rejected him, Shigaraki said, sitting down. I see, so there are still things we don't know. Continue your research, things will turn around. In the meantime, the production of the mid-tier Nomus are ready. I want you to take them and remind Japan who we are, AFO said. Yes, of course, and I have just the city in mind. I swear, Master, I won't let you down. I know you won't. Spend these couple of days resting and planning. You attack on Wednesday, and with that the screen turned all black.